Welcome everyone to session 2 of the Lost Mountain Saga for Vaesen by Free League. Where we left off, we had just started the adventure, and we had been beckoned by a friend of Lord Montgomery, a gentleman named Franzibald Hansen. And Franzibald Hansen, he was an author from Denmark, and he had contacted Montgomery for some assistance. He had been asked by this Reverend Bruselius to go to the town of Falun, and he thought there was much evil afoot, and asked us to go there and just see what we could do. We should still have in the journals and the handouts Reverend Bruselius's letter, and he mentions that he believes that the town of Falun has become the target of witchcraft and devil worship, and he wanted Franzibald's help to find and eliminate the source of this evil. And he mentions it starts with a series of accidents in the town mine, with howls coming from the dark caverns, and the venom from the mine spreading to the town, with crops burning, milk turning to ash, and animals dying without reason. He suspected the miners, that they had fallen under the temptation of ungodly, and dare he say heathen behavior, which he felt was something that he needed to take upon himself to cleanse the town of its moral depravity. And he knew that with Franzibald's help, he would be successful. So Franzibald turned to us. As Franzibald is also a member of the society, he has the site. Much of his writings have to do with Vaesen, although kind of from a, if I say Muggles standpoint, for the people who don't have the site, they would read about these fantastical supernatural events, and that seemed to be where he had made his money. But he was very much a believer. He could see them. And so he asked us to go and help. And so go we did. And we arrived in Falun, and we... one of the first places we went was to the local inn, where we had a place to stay. And there at the inn we met Dagny, and Dagny was this lovely hostess. She had this beautiful little dog, and since we have a dog and a cat in the party, we seemed to take quite a shine to them. And we participated in fika, which was Franzibald's favorite thing, basically snack time. And while we were there, we met the Reverend Bruselius. He came in to the inn, and everyone got quiet, and he went to a private room. And over the course of the day, we learned a little bit about Reverend Bruselius, that he had recently remarried, and his wife was quite young. She was probably maybe 17 or 18 at the time we meet him, and he's probably 50, I would say. And it sounds like Dagny mentioned that his wife, despite being young, couldn't seem to give him a child, that their firstborn had died after 3 days outside the womb. And then she mentions in a hushed voice that he had refused to bury it. Instead, he burnt it, because he believed that the devil hides in all of us. And she seemed to say this with an air of reverence, as though she believes that Bruselius is a devout and pious man. We also met Lisa Johansson, who was the waitress there, and there was a strange moment just before breakfast where Lisa was in the kitchen, and I believe it was Freya had gone down and saw Lisa, and she was not wearing shoes, and she had muddy, dirty feet, and there were muddy footprints, and came to find out that Lisa is rather forgetful, and she sometimes forgets where she is or has difficulty remembering things, and she had forgotten her shoes. And so she was sent to go and retrieve those shoes, and you had been asked to feed Dagny's dog. Well, as breakfast was being served, some miners came in carrying the body of this dog, and Dagny was just beside herself with grief that the dog had been found near the mines. And we ended up, through our investigating, to discover that where the body of the child of Bruselius and his wife had been buried was in the mine, and perhaps that is what is causing all of the disturbances in town. And so to the mines we went, And while we were there, we lost track of Franzibald for a moment, but he had just gotten lost in one of the side passages. We found him, and we eventually found, with Lisa's help, she seemed to be drawn to the area where the baby had been buried. We found the buried remains of this young child. And after finding this child, we decided it needed to be buried. We discovered that this particular sort of Vaesen is called a myling, and a myling is the spirit of a child who was typically burned and was not buried in consecrated ground. And if we could return these remains to the earth in consecrated ground, this myling would no longer wreak havoc in the town of Falun and cause trouble in the mines, or the milk to turn sour, the crops to fail, things like that, or for people to be stirred up into this fervor. However, while we were doing this, two things happened. One is that Bruselius had basically gotten the town riled up that it was witches that had been responsible for this dog, and the town had all gone to the church while we were going to the mine to find this baby, and that it seems like a witch trial and probably an execution was not far away. And he seems to have noticed that Ilsa, with her black garb, and especially her black cat crust, seems to be on his radar, that perhaps she is an evil influence that has been brought here for nefarious purposes. But also, as we were leaving the mine, Lisa and Franzibald went missing. And we presume that they had gone ahead to the town ahead of us while we had stopped to find a pail to put the remains of that child into. And so that is where we left off. We were at the mine, we were getting a bucket to put the remains in. We had done it quite sneakily, but Lisa and Franzibald had disappeared. And we know we need to bury this child at the church grounds. However, the entire town is at the church right now, getting stirred up into a religious fervor. And so, what do we do from here? How do we proceed? And who is carrying the baby? Was that Dagmar that had the baby?
I think it was Dagmar. We put the remains into some sort of a bucket or a tin thing,
Yeah,
and
pail
I
or
was
something?
and I was sort of skipping along with it as if I was a child off to get, carrying flowers or something like that.
Yeah, perfect deception. You might have a picnic in there. No one would suspect that you have the charred remains of a young child in that pail. How do we...
A very tense moment to end the game last time.
Oh, absolutely. How do we proceed? Dagmar, you're the one carrying the pail. What is the plan? Have we decided what we're going to do? And if we need to discuss it, let's discuss it.
I think we need to discuss it. I think we decided it was too dangerous to go to the graveyard during the day, and that we didn't. I'd thought of maybe tucking it somewhere away, but also we decided that was not. We needed to keep it with us. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure. What was the name of the child? Sorry.
I don't believe the child had a name. Let me look this up.
Little Timmy.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, I don't think they had even given it a name. Let me look. Yeah, there is no name given.
Okay.
And in fact, I would know why. So, the child had yet to be christened in the Catholic faith, and so that is when a name would be given to the child. And since it had died before that, they had not even given it a name.
So, grown-ups, I'm just skipping about with my bucket. Where are you leading us to?
It'll take us to the map of Falun, so we've got it here. Yeah, what is the plan?
Well, if I understand it correctly, we need some consecrated ground.
Mm-hmm.
And would we need Father Bruselius to do that, or would anywhere in the church graveyard suffice?
Anywhere in the church graveyard, which would be denoted by most likely a fence, there would already be a cemetery there at the church, but anywhere on the grounds around the border, which would be fenced. Right now, the mine, we are over on this part of the map. The church and the inn are more central into town. The church is this large building right here in the center of town. The inn where we are staying is this large black building here.
Doesn't happen to be another church, does it? This another sort of a cross-shaped building up here.
It is another church.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So if everybody's down at this one with Father Bruselius, could we sneak up to this one? As in the guise of touristing?
What do you think?
Well, perhaps when it gets a little later in the day, some of us could go and distract Father Bruselius and the townsfolk that he's riled up, and then the others could sneak off to this northern church and bury the body.
For sure, if the state that the town is in now, if you are discovered to be carrying around the remains of a child, you will all be burned at the stake. So that's the big risk right now. Is you've got this hot potato, like no pun intended. You've got this thing right now that, my goodness, if you're caught with it, it's all over.
Decided to stay out of town. And where did we decide in a particular place to go? Like, I think we decided we were going to go and visit something else or something like that and try to stay away from the town while people were fired up. Is that what we decided?
I don't remember.
Yeah, 2 weeks is a long time. I forgot like the last half hour of our last session. I feel like we were going to do something though. I had we were going to go visit something else. You were right about that. But
yes.
I have no clue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there another place of interest where we might have thought to go out of town? I've got this feeling like it was up towards Hastberg or somewhere up that way, but I'm not entirely sure.
There's nothing that has been pointed out to you in town, but you're welcome to go wherever you like. In fact, you're welcome to, but if you think there's a farm up there, yeah, there'll be a farm, because this is farmland. If you want to go visit a faraway farm, kind of on the outskirts of town, you could definitely do that.
That other church is actually on the outskirts of town itself. It looks like there's a road going around that church. Mm-hmm. Would we have learned anything about that? Who is the priest there? Is it the same denomination of church? Is it something different? Is there anything that we would learn?
That sounds like a learning roll. Give me a learning roll.
It does. Hopefully there's other people who are also learning. Because I'm not very good at that.
You don't recall. You know that Franzibald had probably said what was there, and if he was only here, it would help, because he would know the town, or Lisa for sure would know the town, but they are not here, and you can't recall. You don't think that it's another Christian church. It seems like the whole town is kind of behind Father Bruselius, so that may be an old church, possibly even an abandoned church. It could be from a different denomination. It's likely that in this area there could be like an old Russian Orthodox church that's there. He's probably been run out of town, and like no way Bruselius is using that church. He's got to have his own.
If it has not been deconsecrated, it is still a place where we could bury the child.
Yes. Nigel, as a servant, yet you are no stranger to hardships and doing things the hard way. What's your feeling? How do you feel things should proceed from here?
Well, yeah, Nigel's dug grave before. Generally, you want to do it at night. He probably feels like it might be best to just hole up in our rooms, get a couple drinks, and just, guard it till the night, because just walking around is going to increase the chances of, us being interrogated. But equally, the world is our oyster. We probably should wait, though. That's his thinking. You wouldn't want to do it in broad daylight.
So something you mentioned goes right into something I wanted to bring up. So you mentioned that you have dug a grave before, and what's Nigel's emotional state right now, knowing that you need to bury this child? Does this key into anything in your past? Anything dark? Hint, hint, dark secret.
Yeah. That's precisely why I said that. Yeah, it does, but in a way, it's like the mirror opposite. Like this is doing a good deed. I don't think he feels like a thief in the night necessarily. This is, doing work on behalf of the order with a good team.
Yeah, this is very different from your prior experience, and yet you can't help shake some of those same thoughts that were with you at that time. And perhaps you find some catharsis in this, yet you can't help but wonder if you're repeating a pattern. And if this will be the last time you dig a grave. And that music got perfectly creepy just there. I believe last time we met, we had discussed about potentially stashing the remains somewhere so they weren't with us, and then going back to the room. I do recall that conversation had taken place, but I don't know that we had decided, do we want to keep them with us? Because if you're caught with it, it's going to be really bad.
Yeah, I think we decided to keep them with us, but I've got a feeling we should rethink that. I mean, if we can find somewhere in a deep forest or something like that.
Yeah, I think if you're going to keep it with you, you probably don't want to go anywhere near the town. So all of the little things on the map that look like little lollipops, those are trees. And so you can see there's some forest around Slata. There's some forest around Kopparberg. There's some forest just below the lake Tisken. Or up
Everybody
near,
feel. I don't think we want to go as far as... Well, hang on. So the mine's over here. Okay.
So the mine, you can see the train station, or the rail would run kind of near where the hotel that we're staying is, and then it heads down to other parts of Sweden.
Could we go and check out Lake Tisken, which I would presume would be quite a good sort of a tourist attraction if this town has any tourist attractions, a nice big lake?
Yeah, in fact, you recall your conversation with, and I forget his name, that homeless man, that he had talked about hurling himself into the Tisken, and you talked him out of that, and you think how nice it might be to go there and see this place. If this is where he was going to end it, hopefully it was a place that was beautiful. And you just hope that you don't see him floating in there when you...
How do we feel about working our way along from the mine below the town and finding a spot somewhere around the bottom there where we could perhaps secrete the remains until we can come back for them?
So maybe like following the rail down like this way?
Or maybe crossing it and then
maybe,
sort of just
coming
moving
across to here maybe?
Yeah, something like that. And then there's obviously houses along there though, are there?
Yeah,
so we wouldn't want to
like cabins or homes.
Yeah.
Well, would we want to perhaps have some of us go into the town and create a distraction so if they are out looking for us, they don't find us while we're near Tisken?
It could also give an alibi.
Mm-hmm.
So it may not be a bad idea to, and again, split the party is usually frowned upon, but it may not be a bad idea in this case.
Who would like to come with me and find a place to put the baby to rest for now? Or do you think I should come back to the town and someone else should do it?
Mm-hmm. I feel like if you have good persuasion, you should probably go into the town. Or good people skills.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
The person that might be the most targeted in town is probably going to be Ilsa. Frenswald even warned Ilsa that you should really not wear those black clothing and, use so much dark makeup. But you did not wear that lovely plum-colored dress with the poofy shoulders that he bought you. In fact, I think you gave that to Dagmar. So.
Dagmar's wearing it right now. Do we think it's safer for Ilsa to stay with the baby and stay out of town, or do we think it's safer for Ilsa to come into town and be seen to be doing innocent things in town?
Yeah, well, I feel like you said, have an alibi. So I feel like if I'm out doing I don't know, mischievous things, that would probably
if you're sneaking in the woods and someone sees Ilsa, they might think the worst.
So who would be the most unlikely person to cause a problem to be out gathering about, going down around the town? Maybe Nigel, because servants are invisible?
Yeah, probably maybe even Nigel and Montgomery, because maybe they're just taking in the air at Tiskin.
Oh, Lord wouldn't. Yeah, he wouldn't be up to shady stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, they wouldn't dare touch an English lord anyhow.
Who would dare question a lord?
Yeah, you can stomp about. So, it'd be really obvious stomping about. And we 3 ladies could go back into town.
Yeah.
We've got Freya with us with her good fighting skills, so we're not harmless if anything goes bad.
And I know Dagmar, she's got a pretty mean kick. If she needs to kick somebody, it seems to work.
Yeah, she's got a dagger too, which she's not loath to use. Okay, is that the plan then?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go with the ladies first. So Freya, Dagmar, and Ilsa. You're heading.
I hand
back into town.
the tin to Nigel.
Yeah, what are they in? Yeah, sorry.
It's wrapped in cloth, and then we put it into this sort of like a lunch pail type tin.
Perfect. Yeah, that's the Lord's.
It's his picnic.
Yeah.
If someone,
Thank you.
Say you get stopped, someone wants to see what's in there, can you bluff your way into saying, "Oh, I burnt the chicken," as you hold up a charred bone?
Do you carry something? What if Sir Montgomery gets hungry? Do you perhaps have something in your pocket that we could put on top of the remains, like in a separate wrappings or something?
Didn't Dagmar take some bread in her pocket? Because
I've got cake squashed in my pocket. Okay, I hand the cake to Nigel as well and say, perhaps if you're questioned, you could get that out and say, "See, a picnic" or something.
I wonder if perhaps Dagmar joined.
Thank you. It'll do.
And Nigel, it wouldn't be too suspicious a child carrying a pail, especially near a beach.
Near a beach,
lake. Yes.
Could even make a sand castle beside the lake and bury the baby in it.
If we had a priest with us, he could consecrate that beach, and you could bury.
I know. I was thinking that.
Okay. How do you feel, Ilsa and Freya? Do you feel okay to go into the town on your own without my persuasion skills?
I have some skills in manipulation, so
yeah,
I think we would be okay.
I think you can do it.
I think you'll be fine.
All right, Freya and Ilsa, are you going to the hotel?
Yeah, I guess so.
Or are you going to go to the church?
To see what the hubbub is.
Yeah, you could check the busy church in the center of town. You could also scout out the old church, find out exactly what that is, and see where the best place to bury the baby might be. Or do you just go to the hotel and stay out of sight?
No, I mean, I think we should be seen if the whole point is to be an alibi. I feel like swinging by the busy church on our way to the abandoned one, just so people see us, makes sense.
Yeah, so maybe you guys take a route through here to the church, to the abandoned one, and then maybe back to the hotel.
Yeah.
Perfect. Let's do that first. As you begin to walk through the town, it's now about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. It's just past lunchtime. By the time you you cross the river that is near the central church. And as you're walking through town, it's barren. There's no one around. Everyone seems to be inside that church. No one's out on the streets. There's a few people in their homes still. You see faces glaring out from windows here and there, but not anyone out wandering the streets at all. When you get to the central church, you can hear loud voices from inside, and there are accusations being thrown about. There is no sense of decorum. There's no sense of legal proceedings. This is a witch trial. You can hear the town shouting at loud voices, people saying, "That girl has been acting weird, and now I think about it, she always seemed to hate that dog." And you can hear other people just shouting, "Satan, I repel you! Satan, be gone!" And the entire congregation in that church just seems to be on edge. Do you go in?
I think Freya will turn to Ilsa and just kind of be like, eh? And leave it up to her.
Yeah. I don't know about going in. Maybe we could just, like, stay on, like, the outside of the church and just listen to what's going on.
If you want to do that, that would be observation rolls. You can either both roll, or one of you can help the other, and you'll get a bonus of +1. Whoever you think might be better at observation.
Ooh. I have 2 in observation.
I also have a 2.
Well,
Okay.
don't forget to count your
So I would get
empathy
6
as
dice.
well. So you count your empathy plus your observation minus the number of mental conditions that you have.
Minus your mental conditions. Okay. Touche. I'm at 4 now.
Then I would have 5.
Yeah, Ilsa would have 5. So Ilsa, you might be better to roll, and then you'll get a +1 from Freya's assistance.
Yes.
Oh, good one.
Excellent. Good success.
Hey.
Is there anything in particular that you are looking for? If not, I'll just kind of give you some general information.
I think I'm just observing what's going on. I'll maybe listen extra closely to any mention of our party that's
Got it.
coming to town.
And with 2 successes, you would definitely be able to do that. The first thing is the visual observation. You see that this church does indeed have a cemetery, and it is built all along kind of the upper right quadrant of the church, like that part of the church grounds. That is the cemetery, and there are assorted headstones here and there. Some are small grave markers, some are larger stones. There's even one that looks like a small monument of sorts for probably someone noble or noteworthy in town. There are a few decorative planters with flowers, and just to make it look very peaceful and serene. There are some gargoyles up on the top of the church that seem to leer down at you. And as you look at these gargoyles, for a moment, you think you catch movement from one of them, as if they are turning their heads to look at you. And you look back and you study, and they don't seem to move again. But for a moment, you think you see that, and you don't know if it's a trick of the mind, a trick of the sight, or if there is definitely something there. You're not sure. But one thing that you are sure is you suddenly become aware that you've been holding your breath, and that your pulse has quickened. And as you set foot on the church grounds, you begin to hear more tonality in those voices. It's not just random shouting and random words, but you do hear words being said. And a name is brought up, and that is Lisa. And they seem to be talking about the waitress at the hotel, the one that led you to the grave, and that Lisa is the one that murdered that dog, and that people saw her leaving the hotel early in the morning and walking towards the mine. Now, you know that her home is on that path, and that she was likely just going to her home, but that dog was found at the mine dead, and it seems as though many of the townspeople are blaming her for this. And there are voices shouting out for strangers in town, that no sooner had they arrived, that fat English lord, than people in town began to grow tense and nervous, as though he is bringing English colonialism to a place where it is not welcome. And then there's mention of that young girl, that one that was seen wandering the town late at night in the company of strange men. It sounds like perhaps when Dagmar had her foray in the evening to meet her friend. Eric, that is his name, yes, to meet Eric. There's also talk of those two dark-haired girls, companions of that English lord, and that it is said that people in town have seen strange red and black candles burning in the windows of the hotel in the rooms that they are staying in. Now, you know this is all nonsense, but this is how rumors are spread. And already it sounds like people in the town are suspicious of anything they can put their hands on. And right now, that's Lisa Johansson and all of you. What do you do with that information, Ilsa?
Well, I kind of already knew they were suspicious of all of us. And that mention of Lisa, wasn't that when she was going to get her
To get her shoes, yes.
Yeah.
And in fact, Freya would probably know, why would she ask me to feed the dog if she was just going to go kill it?
Right.
Seems like that would be an oversight.
That's true.
Do you linger here, or do you head up to that old church?
I feel like it's a good idea to head up to the church.
Yeah, you probably don't want anyone to look out a window and say, there they are! Give me a stealth roll. This is both of you, as we just need one success between the two of you, just to get away without notice.
That's a lot of stealth.
I see a success. So thank goodness. So, Ilsa, you managed to pull Freya away. Freya is probably standing under one of those gargoyles, trying to listen, and you look up and you point at that gargoyle, and you hold out your hand and direct Freya to step back. And you step back and you head out of the church grounds, and you quickly find the nearest alley out of view of the church that you can get down, and then hasten down or up the street towards the other church. And this other church is in a state of ruin. Several of the windows are boarded up. The outside of the building, the grounds, has not been maintained. There are weeds everywhere, but there is a cemetery here, and there are still graves here. And you know that when the grounds would be unconsecrated, they would typically move the bodies. But there's still graves here, so in all likelihood, this is still consecrated ground. Again, if you were a priest, you might know of a certainty whether or not this were true. There's always a chance that if Bruselius told the town that all of their ancestors were heathens, then they would leave them to lie there and not move them to the church grounds. But it's hard to say with what little training in religion that you might have. But this does look like a place where you could bury the child. There's no homes in near proximity to where the cemetery is here. It's in the same place, that upper right quadrant, and you're away from view of all of the larger homes in town. There's just a few small shacks and cabins on the hillside leading up to Brittarsfett, where you could you would most likely be unseen if you were to bury the child there. There's even an old sign, and it does look like, based on the onion-shaped towers of this church, that this was an old Russian Orthodox church. Do you want to go into that church?
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to need a stealth roll for someone to break in there. And Freya, I'm going to let you roll that.
All right, let's try it again. Nope.
Do you want to push that? The door is locked, but you could probably pry a board off of one of the windows.
Sure. We'll see what happens here. Oh no.
You do get the board pried off, and you'll take a condition for that, but you do get the board pried off, and it falls with a loud clatter, and birds fly out from nearby trees, taking to the sky. And birds leaving trees, it's no big deal, but as tense as you are, that you can't help but feel as though, oh, I've been spotted. But you can gain access to the church if you like. The window has been smashed out. You just need to climb inside the building. It smells musty even from here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, might as well if we already did that.
All right, Ilsa, do you follow?
Yes.
The two of you slip into this old church. As far as you know, unseen. Let's go to Nigel, Lord Montgomery, and Dagmar. You are heading down along the railway, and you make your way across the road, climbing up a small hill towards the shore of the Tiskin, where you had intended to go, where there is a small wooded area. And again, you pass no one on this stretch of road. It's like the town is quiet, and everyone has either gone to the church or staying locked in their homes. You would normally expect that around the Tiskin there would be the sounds of laughter and people enjoying themselves and having fun, but all you hear is the breeze blowing across and a few birds here and there. And you find a spot in the trees, probably right kind of here where you jog to the left a little bit and you reach a little promontory there. And it's nice enough that you could sit and rest here for a while. You've got a great view of the town of Falun from here, and it seems quiet enough. You think that you would be unobserved from here. Nigel, do you make any preparations for the stay here? What would you do as a servant?
Maybe we've got a little blanket with the basket that he could lay out. I don't know. I'm surely we've got some kind of snacks. He would, of course, hand the Lord his flask. It must be reaching midday.
Oh yes, the heat. It is September, but it's unseasonably warm today.
Yes, and we must remain ever vigilant. And within 5 minutes, Lord Montgomery's already drifted off, leaning against a tree.
You lean up against the tree. You've got your ankles crossed, your hands crossed across your lap, your mouth open, drool dribbling down your beard. Nigel, every few minutes, leans over and dabs at it with a little silk pocket square to keep the drool from dripping onto your suit. Dagmar, you and Nigel have the chance to have a brief conversation here while Lord Montgomery is gathering his resources. What do you talk about?
I think I just put the tin down, and I'm kind of acting like a child. I'm kind of, going and pointing at this and pointing at that. And so I'm acting like the tin doesn't have value or anything like that at this point. And hoping that it will incorporate itself into the sort of setup that we're making here. Yeah. And I'm saying to Nigel, Hopefully the eyes will be on me. Can you perhaps find somewhere very nice to put our little baby for a while?
Give me a stealth roll. Add a bonus die to that for your clever use of trying to disguise this pail.
Nice.
Got it. Yeah, you feel confident that anyone that spotted you would think it was nothing out of the ordinary, that it would just be a picnic pail or a pail for the beach. You feel like you've done a good job of keeping that out of sight. You do spot someone down near the lake.
No.
It's just down near these homes down here. You can see someone has come out of their home and is standing on the lake shore, and they have a spyglass, and they're scanning the lake shore, and they're looking right at you.
I wave at them and cheerfully skip down to talk to them and
Ooh.
distract them from what my companions are doing.
And you got 2 successes on your stealth roll. They raise their hand and wave at you, and then you see someone else come out of the home. It looks like maybe a woman. She's wearing a dress, has her head wrapped up in a kerchief, and she must be saying something to the person with the spyglass, because he quickly puts his hand down and just continues to watch.
I'm skipping down there if they're not too far away.
Yeah,
Hello!
It might take you a few
What a lovely
minutes.
place to live! Oh my goodness! And I'm skipping down there and hoping to completely distract them away.
Nice. Nigel, what are you doing while Dagmar is skipping down the hillside towards these people?
Yeah, of course he would have joined in and waved, but I think he'd probably go back, loosen his revolver in his holster, just stand by his lord, keep an eye on the general area. We wouldn't want nobody sneaking up on us.
So you don't leave him there sleeping against the tree?
No, never.
Darn it. That was
Don't
gonna be
worry,
good.
you could never sneak up on Lord Montgomery. He is ever vigilant.
The eyes of the hawk. Dagmar, as you skip down, the woman grabs the man by the arm and begins to drag him into the house, and she gives you a glare. It's unexpected.
Hello!
And she does not return your wave, does not return your greeting, simply turns and she pushes her husband into the house. She looks back over her shoulder at you, and you are taken aback. It's a look of hatred, and it's very unexpected.
I'm so wholesome! I'm so wholesome! So I stop, and I look really sad about it, but at least they've gone back into the house. So I kind of let my little hand sadly drop down, and I look really miserable, and I turn around and walk back towards my companions.
You head back dejected. This is probably not the first time that an adult has disappointed you, but this is the first time where you have been made to feel wholly unwelcome in this town. And
but I'm used to that.
Yeah, you've lived a hard life. You don't need to please everyone, but these people definitely know that you're there, and probably saw Nigel and Montgomery, but you don't know if they're just nosy neighbors or what. Perhaps they are devout members of Bruselius's flock. How long are the three of you going to wait there on the shore of the lake? Until dark, or until the others return? Or was there a set time you're going to meet up somewhere? Yeah, what was the plan to meet up?
I don't think we should leave them too long alone. I mean, we don't know what's happening in the town. Although I guess we can see. So if we saw a mob dragging people down the street or something, we could do something about that. I don't know.
Perhaps we could wait until dusk and then return to town. That way, perhaps we can get this finished before bedtime.
Good idea.
Let's go back to the old Russian church where Freya and Ilsa have just broken in. There is a thick layer of dust all through this church, and there are painted statues in here on small pediments, and they look down, almost in a judging sort of manner. Here you've broken into this place that was once holy, and these old relics just stare down at you from their space. You sense it has been years since anyone has used this. Much of the wood inside is rotted, it hasn't been cared for, hasn't been oiled, or the entire church is in need of repair. Any gold or anything of value has been stripped out and taken out, but anything of religious importance that was not of worldly value has been left. And there is a small altar at the front. Whatever was once upon that has long since gone, probably a velvet covering or silk covering. There's a large stained glass window that is still intact, although one small area of it has been broken, looks like by a rock that had been thrown in, and the cracks spider web themselves up into that image. It's an image of a dove, and it was probably once very peaceful, but now looks broken, much like the peace in Falun has been broken. Where do you guys go in this church? Anything in particular you want to check out?
Is there like an office or some sort of like...
I mean, I think as an academic, afraid, yeah, I would probably see if there are any like books or anything around that could be interesting or useful.
So there would be an office. There would be a place here where the clergy could prepare for the services. It's typically just off from the kind of the front of the near the altar, where they can get changed and prepare, then to come out and not have to parade themselves through the church. And there is a door, and it is locked, that leads into this office. If there's any books or any documentation, it would be there. To get in will require a stealth roll to pick that lock, or you can use a force roll and bash it down.
Ooh. We'll try a force roll.
Okay.
Stealth has not been...
You bang your shoulder up against it, and the door does not budge. Do you push that?
I could try a stealth roll.
Okay.
Ah, you seem to know your way into picking locks here, Ilsa. The door yields to... Maybe you pull out like a couple of hairpins and bend one to make a little lever and reach in, pick that lock in just a few moments. And the door is very stiff, but it does squeal as you open it. And the room inside is dark, save for a small window that's been boarded up, and you can see through the slats in some of the boards as sunlight sifts through the dust that's just suspended in the air. And there is a desk. There are a few books that have been left here. There is looks like a Bible in Russian, as well as a few other books, mostly ledgers, keeping track of membership, of debts owed, of tithes and money that have come in, and things like that. There is a drawer on the desk that does have a small lock on it. This could be easily picked. It'd be a stealth roll with one bonus die to try and pick this lock if Ilsa wants to get into that.
Sure.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Ilsa, tell me what you find in there with that many successes. What do you want to be in there?
Oh, maybe like a personal journal, or maybe some personal notes about what happened to this church, or maybe some notes about people.
Perfect. There is a personal journal, and it is by the the priest that ran this Russian church, and his name is Sergei Ilyanov. And Sergei left. You kind of skim through, and it's written in Russian, which I don't know if you know Russian. The first thing you look at it, you're dismayed, like, oh dear, like I don't know if I know this. But we have an academic with us.
Perfect.
And Freya, if you were to do a learning roll for me, there's a chance you might be able to piece together enough Russian to understand what is going on. Oh, you got it.
Okay.
You see a few entries here and there, and it seems like about a year before this church, before the final entry, that Sergei makes mention of Edward Bruselius coming into town. And he mentions that this man is widowed, but he's been seen in the company of a young girl. And then he says, perhaps too young. There's another entry a few months later that says that she is with child. She's been seen sporting the signs of pregnancy in town. And then another entry that says, word has it that Bruselius has had his child born and the child did not survive. And then the last entry says, I know too much, and for this reason I am forced to leave Falun and my flock. I trust that they will be in God's hands now, because I fear that they are in the hands of the devil. And that's where his entry ends, the last entry in the journal. And I timed that with the music just perfectly. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I think Freya, definitely shares all of this. And she's like, well, if we weren't troubled before, this is very troubling presently.
Oh, yes.
Ilsa, give me a vigilance roll.
No.
Oh no.
You hear a sound. You're inside this office, but you hear a sound, and it is someone pulling at the church doors, the main doors, as though someone's trying to get in.
If I peek around the doorway of the office, can I see who it is, or a vague impression of who it is?
Give me an observation roll. Or do you want to push your vigilance roll? You can push that, or you can make your observation roll.
I'll just make the observation roll. There we go.
Nice. You see two things. One, you can see that the door is being tried again, and you can hear something that sounds like metal being inserted into metal, perhaps a key being pushed into a lock. You can also hear a voice near the window that you climbed in, and it's saying, this board is missing. Someone's in there.
Oh,
Do
no.
I recognize the voice?
No.
Okay.
Let's move to Nigel, Lord Montgomery, and Dagmar.
I think Dagmar's telling them.
Yeah, telling you what you found, that you saw those...
I'm just saying, that they really did, look at me, I'm so cute, and they turned and shut the door on me. This is not a good sign for how we're being taken in this town. That's what I'm saying to them.
Yes, quite rude.
Yes,
Well.
indeed. There's no way to treat a guest. A lord would never do that.
It's gotten a little bit later in the day. You've probably been here a few hours. The sun will be setting in about 2 hours. At what point do you want to head back into town?
I'm worried about the ladies. I'm worried that we've left them alone.
Yes, if the tensions are that bad, it is a bit concerning.
Yes, it should be dark enough that perhaps we can take some cover in the darkness and find our way back.
Yes.
as you head back into town, you find that the same thing is true, that there's no one out and about. There's no one. All the shops are closed. Homes are shut. Most of the windows are shut. But every now and then you'll see a pair of eyes peeking out through a slit in a curtain, or you'll hear voices inside whispering to themselves as you pass by a window or pass by a home. The inn is up here. Do you try and steer wide of the central church, or do you take the most direct route, which will take you maybe 2 blocks from the church?
I think that would be up to Lord Montgomery which direction we go. He, of course, with all his experience.
Oh, yes, yes. Well, perhaps the most direct route is best. We look the least suspicious that way.
Yes, that's true. I will skip with my pail again.
Excellent. Let's go back to the church, to the old church. The key seems to have found its purchase, and you hear the lock spring open as the door begins to open. Ilsa, what do you do? You're still in that office with Freya. What would Ilsa do? You've seen this.
Is there like a window in the office that we could climb
It is.
out?
It's boarded up.
Okay. I'll turn to Freya and I'll say, well, we could either, barricade ourselves in here, or we could go out that window.
Probably best to escape.
I agree.
Getting out through that window, it's going to be hard to do it quietly, because you're going to have to smash those boards out. If you're prepared to do that, that's going to be a force roll to smash that out. Now, there is a chair in here that you could use to hit that. That's going to give you 1 bonus die. If you want to try and sneak out, this window may not be the way. You may need to go into the main area of the church and hide amongst the pews until you can sneak out.
I was going to ask if there was a way we could hide.
Yeah, you could. There's a bunch of rotted pews in here. You could go and try and crawl under them before you are spotted. What path do you choose?
Freya turns to Ilsa and is like, how about hiding instead?
Okay, so the person's not in the church yet? They just
Not
turned
yet. The
key.
door is opening right now.
Okay, well, yeah, let's hurry and hide then.
Okay, I need a stealth roll from each of you. You get 1 bonus die because they think you're in here, but they don't know for sure, and it's dark. Oh, oh man.
Yeah.
All those dice. And
Oh,
single
okay.
success.
Freya has got it. Ilsa, do you push that?
Yeah, I'll push it.
Hey.
There you go. So Freya and Ilsa, you begin to crawl out. What condition did you take there, Freya, for that?
I took hopeless for that.
How close are either of you to being broken? Freya, it looks like you
I-
got 2.
2
and
mental.
Ilsa's got 2 mental as well. Okay. So you both scamper out under some of the rotted pews, and you look under the pews and you see several sets of legs, and you see that they are wearing, or they're carrying torches. There are more than just a few people out there. It seems like there's maybe 8, and they look like men's boots and pants and trousers, and the light of the torches is filling the church, and you can hear their whispered shouts of they're in here, I know it. Father Bruselius was right. They've come to raise the devil in this old church. And you can hear them plodding up and down the aisles. Spread out, look everywhere. As they begin to approach your position. Do you stay put or do you try to move? Actually, I want both of you to give me a fear test. This is logic or empathy. To beat this, you need 1 success. This is kind of a big deal here.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh. Ilsa, you're going to panic. I'm going to roll a dice to see how many rounds you panic for. For 1 round. That means you let out a yelp.
Oh no.
You let out a small and you cover your mouth, a little squeal of fear, and you see that one of the sets of feet stops and turns towards your direction, begins to head right towards you.
Is there like a rock or like little something that Freya could just kind of like throw in like the other direction?
Yes. Ilsa, I need you to take 1 mental condition from that. So now you're at 3.
Yes.
Oh no.
To throw a rock, that's going to be a stealth roll or manipulation. I will let you choose as you throw something to try and draw their attention.
Try manipulation. Oh no.
Do you want to push it?
Sure. Here we are. Whew. Okay.
So as you skitter this rock, you see that several sets of the men, there it is, movement, and you see them turn and head that way. There is still the one standing about 6 or 8 feet from where Ilsa is hiding under the pew, and it looks as the torchlight begins to get lower to the ground, he is perhaps stooping down to look. You guys have seconds to decide what to do with this distraction that Freya has set up. What do the 2 of you do?
Do you have any weapons on you, Ilsa?
Oh, I think I have a dagger. Yes. I have a knife.
Punch him in the nose. Yeah, I feel like any sort of,
Is this fight or flight? Or do you try and, as he's bending down, are you sneaking into the next pew that he's already passed, hoping that he doesn't spot you?
That's what I was kind of thinking.
Okay.
I think I'll try to get out of there before I'm spotted.
Are you doing it stealthily?
Yes.
Okay, that's a stealth roll. And you have already used up, or you're at 3 mental conditions?
Yes.
So, you can break yourself by pushing, if you have to, but then you would be in absolute despair. So you wanna make this the first time.
If I push this, would I take a physical condition though?
Oh yeah, sorry, you're correct. It would be a physical, and you only have 1 of those.
I have.
Oh, you have 0. Okay, perfect. Go ahead and make this stealth roll.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
So you begin to, on your hands and knees, you quickly crawl and scurry your way to the next pew. Are you going, so let's say they're coming from the south heading north. Are you going to move to a pew to the north so he has to go further, or are you going to try and go south, like area that he's already covered?
Yeah, I'm gonna go south.
Okay. And because you got 2 successes, had you gotten 1, you would have gotten there quietly, but you would have left a nice smear in the dust on the floor that may have been spotted. But with 2, you happen to, as you make that move, your dress actually just stirs up some of the dust, but it's not enough that would be immediately noticeable. But you managed to get there. Freya, you can see that this man he's still close, and he's bending down, he's looking under that pew that she was just under a moment ago, and maybe you're under the next pew. What does Freya do?
Oh boy. How close is Ilsa to the door?
Maybe 20 feet.
Okay. So if you needed to make a break for it, you could.
Yeah, do you let her escape and you take the fall, or are you gonna both get out? Like, what's your thinking here?
I don't know. My thinking is, if there's only one guy in the room, we can like.
Oh, there's like
He-
there's like 8 guys in the room. There's
Oh,
only
I
one
thought
guy
they-
that's right there looking under that pew.
Yeah. Okay. Then yeah, maybe we don't take him down. I guess she's gonna just keep trying to sneak.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
Give me a stealth roll.
Oh boy.
Oof. Do you push it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
got it.
lucky.
Got it. How many physical conditions are you at now?
This is my second one.
So one more or 2 more, and you'll be broken. Okay.
Mhm.
So you manage to sneak around kind of the back edge of the pew, where he's not going to see you. But there's still, you can see torchlights all around the church. He looks under that pew. Thought I heard something there. And then he stands up and begins to walk again around. And you see there's possibly a way to get out of here, but it's not going to be easy. Let's go to Ilsa. You're not in immediate danger, but there's danger all around you. Is your goal to try and get out the main front door?
Is it like open?
It is open.
Okay, I think I'll try that then.
Okay, I'm going to need another stealth roll. Ugh. You push it?
Man,
Yeah.
we should have just broken that window.
Oh.
No.
Oh no.
Okay, you get onto the balls of your feet, and you know you need to make a sprint for it. That if you just slowly crawl your way there, eventually you're going to be found. So you rise up and you begin to walk as fast and as quietly as possible while crouched down. And you see the door getting larger and larger. You see there's fading daylight just on the outside. You're almost there. And you get to the door, and as you step through, you crash into the arms of another man that was standing out there.
You're joking.
Give me a force roll as he yells out, "I've got one!"
Ugh.
Oh. Do you push it?
No. They already know I'm here, so.
He's got hot breath that smells of pickled herring and cheese. And as he's speaking to you, kind of hissing at you, spittle flies from his mouth and lands on your cheek. And he says, "You thought you could run. You thought you could get away from us. No, we found you." And you have a moment where you think about your dark secret. And give me either a logic or an empathy roll as fear begins to overtake you.
Oh, is this Pete?
Oh yeah, this isn't Pete.
Pete.
So you'll take one more mental condition. Which does that break you mentally?
Oh no.
Yes, it does.
So you just go limp in his arms as all of the fight leaves you. And he scoops you up in his arms and drags you kind of roughly away from the church towards a few other townspeople who begin shouting, Yeah, we've got her. Take her to Brasilius. Now, Freya, you hear all this taking place. What do you do?
Oh man. Well, I think she's just gonna stab the guy and then just run as fast.
Yeah.
Nice.
Stab and run.
All right, let me grab some tokens. Here's a typical townsperson. Actually, tell you what, I have a map of a church. What am I doing? Let's go to the church.
Mhm.
I should have
Wow.
used this whole time. All right, so here's a townsperson,
Mhm.
and here is Freya.
Typical townsperson.
Typical townsperson. And then there's going to be a couple other typical townspeople around here.
In this town, that means they suck.
Oh, yeah. And then out here is Ilsa in the arms of this dude over here. Alright, so if you want to stab this guy, that is a close combat roll. And he's going to try to counter that with the force rolls. He tries to just knock the knife out of your hands. So go ahead and give me a close combat roll.
Oh,
Do you want to push it?
yeah. If ever there was a time. Oh my god. Wow.
Today is
Wow.
not the day for good dice rolls.
He tries. He fails to knock the knife out of your hand. You've still got your knife. You'll take a physical condition from that. But he doesn't seem to be able to damage you. He's not trying to hit you. It looks like he had his hand back, like he was going to backhand you across the face, but instead he tries to knock the knife out of your hand and fails. Do you continue to go after him?
No, I'm just gonna run.
Okay. Give me an agility roll for that.
Oh, no. Wait.
Do you want to push it?
Uh,
Can you push it?
no, I'll be broken if I push it.
All right. Let me
They do want us to die.
give him a force roll.
I don't know if I can just have her collapse in the church.
Okay. You can fight back. It's going to be a force roll. He's trying to grab you in his arms. If you don't succeed on this, you'll be caught.
Alright, here we go.
Oh no.
Oh, come on, dice.
You could push it, but you'd break yourself, and then he would take you. That's going to be a fear roll, logic or empathy.
Okay. Rough times in the church. Alright,
Okay,
alright.
so you're okay there. You maintain your cool, but he's got you in his grasp. And you feel an urge that you have been trying to push down for the longest time. And you've got something on your person that you know you wish you could just use right now, that it would make a lot of your troubles go away. There's a little bottle that you've got.
Oh, yeah.
But you know that that would make a lot of this go away for you, but you know that it would only be temporary. And that thought kind of crosses your mind as he roughly handles you and drags you. In fact, he's got you by the hair, and he's got a handful of your hair in his arm around your chest, kind of pinning your arms to your side as he's dragging you, your heels scraping on the dust-covered floor of the nave as he drags you towards the exit, where you can see Ilsa her hands have been bound behind her back with rope.
Ooh. Is there... I feel like she would want to yell out a warning to the other people in the party.
Yeah, you can go ahead and yell. What do you say?
To learn not to split the... Don't split the party!
Yeah, so Crust was there. They're not interested in Crust. What does Crust do?
Oh, I think after Crust sees that I have been captured, he's gonna run off and try to find Dagmar or any of the other people in our party.
So Crust bolts through, and a few of the people kind of shout, get that! And they're chasing after Crust, but Crust manages to make it into some weeds and disappears into the darkening sky. Freya, you cry out for your fellows who happen to be walking through town at this moment. Nigel, give me an observation roll to see if you hear those cries.
Wow.
think Blix would hear them.
Ooh.
Blix has very alert doggy terrier hearing.
Yeah, Dagmar, give me an observation roll with a +1. I love that.
The game is really trying to kill us.
I know.
His little ears are pricking up.
Oh, yeah. Blix, his ears perk up, and he goes like in full point mode, and he points in the direction that he heard the sound, and you hear him whimpering. Let's go back to our main map here. Blix seems to notice this sound. You guys don't hear it, but Blix is definitely keyed into it. And right now you are probably about here, that little bridge over the river, and the sound seems to be coming from up here.
We hear the crowd now as well, once we get a little bit closer.
As you get closer, you do. You can hear the shouting of probably a dozen or more men. And they're holding up, you can see the torches from here. And they're shouting, "We're going to burn the witches! Burn the witches!" And they're dragging, you see now Ilsa and Freya bound, being marched towards that church.
This is bad. This is bad.
This is bad.
We can't fight all these people, right?
No, this is... Yeah. I mean, maybe, but it's a tough ask.
I think Lord Montgomery will pull out his revolver and fire a shot into the air to gain their attention.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the revolver.
And then he will say, or he will stride forward once he has their attention.
Perfect. Your shot rings out, and they stop, and two of the men approach, while the ones holding Freya and Ilsa continue to move towards the center of town. They say, "Hey, you're with them, aren't you?"
Would you please introduce me to our friends here?
Oh.
Yes, of course. It's a surly tone you took, sir, when you're speaking to the Right Honourable Lord Reginald Baldwin Hilary Badencroft III. He was the veteran of the Crimean War, commander of the 7th Royal Cavalry Division.
That was awesome.
That's right. Quite right.
They say, well, begging your lord's pardon, but this is official church business. We've caught us a couple of witches, and we aim to see them burn. Now, your lordship may be too much for this sort of thing. You're welcome to go and rest in your room. We'll take care of this.
Listen here, you unsavory fellow. Those are no witches. No, they are members of my family, a very powerful family. And if you were to harm them, then I hate to think what would happen to your small, forsaken town here.
Our small, forsaken town means nothing when it comes to the value of our eternal souls. So says Father Brasilius, and so believes I.
Well, would you follow him to the noose, then, would you?
Give me a manipulation roll.
Can I use my bonus now that he's heard of me?
Yes.
Really?
Oh my goodness!
That has me a little frightened, a little on edge.
There we go. Would you follow him to the noose? There'll be no noose in this town. There will be a fair trial. And if these two are found to be witches, well, they get what they deserve. You're welcome to come and testify on their behalf.
How about this? You turn them over to me. We'll stay in the town for your due process. And in return, I will even make it worth your while.
With your two successes, he pauses for a moment and steps up and says, "You make your offer to Brasilius. If he agrees, then we have a deal.
Where's that old crone? Let me talk to him."
I'll take you to him directly. Follow me, your lordship." And he actually bows, and he will march you towards the church. He's taking a separate path. So he's going to take you down this street here, whereas Freya and Ilsa are going down this other street here. And when both groups arrive at about the same time, and every time you go past one of the side alleys, like there's an alley up here. There's an alley up here where you make eye contact, and another one down here. You look over and you see just a despondent look on their faces. And Ilsa is just numb to everything, but Freya is struggling. She's kicking, she's spitting, she's stomping on the toes of the men that are trying to lead her. She still has fight in her. When you reach the church, you can see there's a ring of torchlight around the church as townsfolk are carrying these torches out near the entrance to the church. The doors are open, and you see Father Bruselius standing there with his arms outstretched, kind of like the Christ the Redeemer statue in Rio de Janeiro. He's standing out, trying to look as symbolic like Christ as he can. And he says, "We have found the evil in our town. Bring those two in to join the other, and we will deem their worthiness before the Lord." And when you hear him say the other, you then see Lisa Johansson is also bound and held by a group of men near the entrance to the church. Lord Montgomery, you witness all of this. The man that you had talked to goes up and says, "Bruselius, these men here would testify on behalf of these two, their companions. Will you hear what he has to say?" And Bruselius looks at Lord Montgomery and says, "Of course. The Lord hears all and knows all. And tell me, Montgomery, if that is indeed who you are. You fought in the Crimea, did you not, sir?"
Oh, yes, that is true.
"You led cavalry in a charge, did you not?"
Also true.
"They were cut down to a man, yet you survived, is that true?"
Yes.
And
Some say by the grace of God I survived.
Some say by hiding in the woods and letting your men be cut to ribbons, you survived.
Fighting words.
Perhaps that's what you think, but who would take the words of some lowly priest?
And the townsfolk began to look around at the three women now bound, and at Bruselius, and they cry out, Put an end to these troubles. Let our crops grow. Let the milk be fresh. Let the mine yield what it will for us." And he looks at Lord Montgomery and he bows and says, "Your lordship, please come inside. You will have a chance to speak your piece."
Nigel, if you would, let us speak with this man.
Of course, my lord. Are we going in? Because I like to think Nigel would definitely like to tap his heels together and announce our presence.
Nice. You pull out a little card and read all of his titles. Dagmar, you've kind of been unnoticed in all this.
I very much have. I carry the thing that will get us all burned.
Right, and Bruselius looks at that pail.
I didn't even come into sight back at the other church. I stayed there. When they went charging forward to confront,
Ooh.
I stayed away.
Perfect.
I've got to get rid of this baby.
So you're not with everyone else.
I'm not with everyone else, and the whole crowd, I'm hoping, will go charging off to go and watch all this drama, and I'm going to sneak around to the back of the church and try to find a little spot to bury the baby.
Give me, and this is the old church, not the new church.
The old church, yes.
Give me a stealth roll with 2 bonus die. 1, because you are small and Montgomery seemed to make a very loud commotion and all eyes were on him. And 2, it's getting dark and the townsfolk have other things on their mind.
Okay.
Got it.
Yes.
Barely. You managed to sneak away. No one has noticed you.
I use my bare hands. I scrabble a little bit in the soil and make a little spot, perhaps at another gravestone, perhaps of a woman, so that I'm giving the baby to someone's spirit to care for it. And I scrabble a little hole, and I reverently place the bones in, and I fill the hole back up, and I say a little prayer over the little baby, and I say, I'm so sorry you didn't know love when you were alive, but may you find love in the next life. And I back away.
Let's rewind just a few moments there. So you find this spot next to the grave. In fact, it looks like it's a woman that she had no children. Looks like she was never married, an old maid. And you think this is a perfect spot. And as you begin to pull at the grass and dig with your hands, you begin to dig this grave, and you can hear the sounds from blocks away of townspeople shouting, and you know that time is of the essence. And you dig a small area, and all the while you look down at your little hands, and you're very young, and you're doing very grown-up things, and the weight of what you're doing begins to settle in. And as you continue to dig this grave, let's go back to the church. Once inside the church, the tension is suffocating. The anger has nowhere to escape. It is here in this mighty church where friends, family members, everyone is turning against Ilsa, Freya, and Lisa. Some of them are so consumed by hatred they are frothing at their mouths. Bruselius tries to rein it in, focusing their hatred towards Lisa, Freya, and Ilsa. The three of you are standing in front of the altar awaiting your sentence. Satan, I repel you, he cries, believing he can exorcise the demons that you have brought into the town. He seems to want to help. That's all he's ever wanted. However, his wife begins to sob and cry, and Lisa, her eyes fill with tears as she falls down onto her knees, unable to stand as her heart is breaking into a million pieces at hearing all these people in the town disparage her and say these horrible things about her. But Emily, she knows. She has known for a while. The heartbreaking cries of her lost baby haunt her every night. All mothers can hear it, and she sees it in the terrified faces of Lisa, Ilsa, and Freya. She knows that this is not the devil's work, but that this is God punishing her for her sins. For as you learned, she did not want her baby to live under the oppressive hand of Father Bruselius, and she smothered it with a pillow, and then told him the baby had died, and that was when he burned it. You hear a few voices cry out, "It's a child!" And there, floating behind the altar, you see this. The small body of an infant, covered in soot. Parts of its body have been burnt off. Smoke rises from behind it, its eyes completely black. The church goes completely quiet outside the small whimpers of pain from this small being. It suddenly lets out a guttural scream and begins to cast a spell. The first target is Bruselius, who lights up like a living torch as flames engulf his body. He waves his arms around in panic, which sets fire to the furniture and tapestries in the church as he dies. The Myling then attacks everyone else in the church. Panic erupts, people begin to flee, small particles of ash and embers flutter and swirl in the air, and there's the distinct smell of burning as the fire begins to spread quickly. But somewhere, in a quiet graveyard in an old church, Dagmar lays the small, charred bones into the earth and begins to cover it, her tears moistening the soil as she pats it down in place. And she offers that humble, heartfelt prayer. And just as soon as all of the flames and destruction had entered the central church of Falun, it stops. And the child's whimpers and cries turn into the sounds of a child's laughter, as peace has engulfed the Myling. Oh yeah, Dagmar absolutely understands what this child has gone through. And Dagmar, as you kneel over this grave, completely unaware that you have put a halt to the Myling's destruction, you feel that this child deserves a name. What name do you give it?
I do. I had a brother who was killed by the werewolf, and his name was Tomas.
Ooh,
And I think that I give this child the name Tomas.
nice. As you give it that name, all of the flames in the church are immediately extinguished, leaving the smell of ash and smoke everywhere. Father Bruselius lies burnt on the ground. The flames that were licking up the sides of the church, the altar, and the pews are suddenly quieted, leaving only hot red embers and glowing coals. In the commotion, Freya and Ilsa, you are released as the people in town realize that God did come and bring his judgment, but it wasn't upon you, it was upon Bruselius. And that if God would destroy him, perhaps he was what was wrong in town. And you look at one another, wondering how you survived this horrible event, and then you realize that Lisa is not here. In the commotion, she seems to have fled. Nigel, you saw Lisa run from the flames and the commotion as you sought to protect Montgomery from the fire. You saw her leave through the front door and head westward towards the mine. What do all of you do? Dagmar, let's go to you first. You have buried Tomas, covered the grave. You rise up, and as you turn, you can see smoke coming from that church.
My hands are very dirty, and there's dirt up under my nails, and I am actually, I'm actually quite mentally very affected by what I just did, emotionally affected by what I just did. So I'm brushing my hands off as much as I can. I'm trying to clean the graveyard dirt off my hands, but I can hear that there's trouble, so I'm kind of trying to brush them down my skirts, and aware that Ilsa will probably be a bit grumpy that I've got my skirts dirty, not aware that she's been dragging hers all over the dust in the church, and I say to Blix, "What? We gotta go," and I run towards the others.
Montgomery, you and Nigel meet up with Freya and Ilsa. Probably, well, actually, would Montgomery embrace them? Would you give them a hug, or would you be more stoic and pat them on the shoulder? There, stiff upper lip. What would you do?
Nigel, comfort them, will you?
Comfort them for me.
Well, goodness, well, Nigel has no idea how to comfort anybody but his lord. So I think he would just be like, would anybody like a drink?
I've got some crackers. Ilsa and Freya, you narrowly escaped the fires of a mob.
Mm-hmm.
What's your response now? Now, Ilsa, you are mentally broken. You are just, you are lost at this point. You were certain that you were going to be killed, and perhaps you don't even believe that it's over.
Right.
What would Freya do or think or say?
Is there a way that I can help Ilsa come out of the fog?
Yes. So you can do the scene where you talk to each other, and you have a chance to try and ease some of her suffering. There's a couple different ways that you can help others to recover from damage, and one of those ways is you just take some time and you act out a little scene. Basically, you just kind of explain what you say, how you try to help her, and you're able to recover from two 2 conditions. So,
Okay.
what would you say to her?
I just have to look up something in my character sheet. I think she's going to kind of like, like, is Ilsa sitting or standing right now?
Oh, I think I would probably have sat down after all of that.
There. Okay, so
Let me just pause real quick. So I misspoke. So you can recover from conditions, but if someone is broken, you have to inspire them, and so you would need to make an inspiration roll. And if you get a success, she will not be broken, and any additional successes will remove conditions.
okay. Do I still give the little speech before I do the roll?
Yep, absolutely. Please.
Great. Sure. Okay, so yeah, Freya will like sit next to her, kind of like put an arm like around her shoulder, in like a side hug kind of way. And I think she's gonna just give a deep sigh, and be like, I thought the worst day of my life was when I watched my partner get torn apart by a giant. But this definitely, might top it. And she kind of does the little chuckle. And she's like, but that's the thing about horrible days is sometimes it leads you to things you never thought. Like, if I had never been through that horrible day years ago, I wouldn't be here with all of you and feel like I found my life's purpose. I never would have met Crust. Would have met Blix, and had so many fun animal friends. And now we even have a butler. That's super cool.
What young girl doesn't want a butler?
Right? Didn't you want a butler when you were growing up? And she kind of like nudges her a little bit. And she's, Freya's like, I know things seem really dark right now, and we have had a rough day is an understatement. But things always have a way to get better if you give it time.
Excellent. Give me that inspiration roll.
Get inspired!
Got it. So she is not broken. Now, whenever you become broken, you will take a critical injury. So I'm going to roll on the critical injury table. Traumatized. So that's not bad.
That makes sense.
There's a chance that you will have a defect at the end of the adventure. You'll have a chance to try to overcome this. But I'm going to drag this onto your character sheet. And if you can recover from this when you get back to the castle, then this will not be a permanent defect. But you will suffer from this defect for the remainder of the adventure. And so let me put this on your character sheet. Perfect. And then you are no longer broken. So, yep, get rid of broken. Perfect. All right, and so then we need to make sure at the end of the adventure that we see if that has become a permanent injury. All right, so you are no longer broken. If you want to now act out that scene, you can recover from 2, or you did just act out the scene, but you can recover from 2 conditions, 2 mental conditions, or mental or physical. You can divide them up how you want, Ilsa.
Okay. I think I'll turn to Freya and I'll say, thank you, and you're right, that was very beautiful and inspiring, and you're right, this may seem like a dark day, but I've been through worse and I've recovered from that too, so, and I'm glad that I have people around me to protect me and people that I can turn to.
Awesome.
No.
So the question is, where did Lisa go, and where is Franzibald? He's not been seen.
Yes, that Lisa girl is slinking off to the mines, it seems.
Well, if I know Franzbold, is there a bakery in town? We might try there.
There are, but they are likely not open. It seems like everyone is here. However, it sounds like Lisa has gone to the mine. Do you go to the mine to help her to recover from this trauma?
I feel like we should.
It seems right.
Yes.
Where we lost Franzibald, right? Roundabout when we were coming out of the mine.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Yeah.
true.
And he could be back at the hotel asleep, for all you know. You head back to the mine. It's evening. You've got lanterns as you go into the mine. You can see footsteps. Her little delicate footprints going through some of the soft soil at the mine entrance. And you wander the tunnel for a good 20 minutes, and then you hear scraping footsteps ahead. An icy chill sweeps through the passage, and then you see someone standing in the tunnel. It's a woman with long brown hair and a tattered dress, dimly lit by a pale green light from a stone in a necklace around her neck. It looks like Lisa Johansson, but something is off. Lisa comes closer, moving with strange, gangly gait, her face in shadow. She's holding something large in her hand. Blood is dripping from her jaw down onto her dress, and even more blood is oozing from whatever she's holding. In her hand, hanging at her side, is the severed head of Franzibald Hansen. The bright green gemstone that he wore around her neck is now around her neck. Then, in a deep, guttural voice, Lisa growls a few words in some ancient tongue before letting out an otherworldly scream. You all need to make a fear test. This is against fear value 3, so you need 3 successes to not be affected by this fear. And this is either logic or empathy. Yep. So logic or empathy, you each need 3 successes to not succumb to fear.
Well.
Oh,
almost.
Dice pool 3. Oh.
Wow, so close.
Can anyone make it?
Oh,
Nope.
Lord Montgomery was close.
Oh, so close. So Nigel and Montgomery, you've seen some stuff in the world, but even this is a little too much, and I think it's the sight of Franzibald, at him being decapitated, that everyone begins to step back, and even you find yourselves stepping back as well. And you see this being before you, and Lord Montgomery, give me a learning roll as you hear the words spoken by this being. It's in Old Norse. Oh, you recognize it. These words say, "The stones are for the gods, not for men. The Vanadisir must die." And I'm going to copy and paste this in here for you.
Yes, I heard Franzibald speak those words once.
Let me copy and paste this. And then, Freya, give me a learning roll as you hear the term Vanadisir.
Ooh. Oh.
You, unless you want to push that, you're not sure what that means. You know it's an old ancient Norse word.
I mean, we might as well push it. Why not? We'll even it out. Aww.
No, so you're not. This is something you're going to have to research at the castle. What Vanadisir is. And as immediately as you hear this sound and you see Lisa holding this severed head and wearing this green necklace, there's a flash of bright green light, and the mine is absolutely still as it mourns the dead. And this is the end of the first mystery, Duty and Despair. We can go ahead and take a short break here. When we come back, we'll jump right into the second mystery.
Ooh.
So let's take about a 7-minute break. I'll see you all in just a few moments.
Chock full of gold. We hit to the tavern where my mighty tale unfolds. Crafted from numbers on a living paper. I skip from the mundane to a naval caper. While in real life, my fate is unspoken. Hero roll of the dice and my fate is unspoken. The king honored me with a mighty crossbow. It's blessed by the elves, he said. I thank him and I go. The life of a hero, struggling to stay alive. It's worth all the hardship though, 'cause now I'm a level 5. Level 5.
Alright, I am back whenever everyone else is here. We'll get started.
Hello.
Hello. How was that mystery? Did you guys enjoy that one?
Yeah, I did. I love that like bittersweet ending. Vaesen does that really well, and also that was so good on the speeches there. I love that.
Oh yeah, it's such a dark game, and this is a really dark mystery. Yeah, we need to do a little bit of bookkeeping before we jump right into the second one. So that was the end of the first mystery, and it's assumed that we wrap up whatever loose ends and head back to the castle. Whatever has happened here with the death of Bruselius, it seems to be at an end, but we know what actually brought peace to this place was taking care of Tomas's body and burying his body in a consecrated place. So we take comfort in that. Now, looks like we're all back.
Yes.
First thing that we can do is back at the castle, we will all recover from all of our conditions. So you can remove all of your conditions, but we need to see if Ilsa's PTSD, her being traumatized, is permanent or not. And so the way this works is in between mysteries, when you go back to the castle, you will make a mental recovery roll. On your character sheet, where it says conditions, there's physical and mental. There's a little, like a cube next to those. That's your recovery roll. For mental, you will roll your logic plus your empathy, and as long as you get one success, that condition is removed. Or if you have multiple conditions, you need to get multiple successes. If you don't, that will become permanent. So, Ilsa, do you want to make that recovery roll for us?
Okay.
And you got it. So, let me take care of that. So that has been healed. Perfect. You still retain the memory of that.
Right.
Now, back at the castle, just a few weeks later, we get a visitor. About 2 weeks have passed since the terrible events in Falun and the death of Franzibald Hansen. Oh, before I do that, Freya, as an academic, and also Ilsa, as an occultist, let me have both of you give me a learning roll to see if you know what Lisa was.
Oh yeah.
Excellent. See a couple of good successes there. You know that Lisa was a type of Vaesen called a revenant. A revenant is the undead spirit of a human, full of hatred for mankind, with an urge to frighten, harm, and kill. Usually it wants to torment its family or other people that it used to loathe back when it was still human. Revenants are often invisible, but not always. And that revenants can be banished using the remains of its human corpse. If it was not buried in a graveyard, it could be banished by digging up the body, carrying it across a graveyard wall, and burying it on consecrated ground with a cross on the casket. If it's already been buried in a graveyard, it must be dug up again, carried across the wall 3 times, and reburied with a cross and the shovels with which the grave was dug. Another way is to burn the body. At least that's what you have heard in your studies of Vaesen. But it seems as though you came face to face with a revenant. Now, back at the castle, you've had a few weeks to unwind and decompress and try to deal with the things that you have experienced, and life begins to slowly return to normal. But you still carry the burden of emptiness and unanswered questions that leave a silent echo within the walls of the castle. And then one crisp October morning, you find yourselves in the breakfast room enjoying the first meal of the day together along with the daily newspaper. And always these days, the news cycle is completely dominated by updates on the Abisko mine, but there's also a story about the Uppsala Asylum that seems to catch your eye as well. And let me post this.
Is that where my friend is?
Yes, I believe so.
Ooh.
I go and visit her. I'm just looking for her name now.
It was Linnea.
Linnea, that's
Yes.
right.
Let me get this set up here in the journals so that you guys have access to this.
Oh boy.
So yeah, it sounds like 20 new patients were admitted to the asylum last month. A significant increase that the upper management blamed on the unusually rainy summer. However, help is on its way. Experts from Stockholm arrived last week and already the situation has stabilized. Early projections estimate the problem with overcrowding will be solved by Christmas. Let me have Freya give me a learning roll.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Well.
Do you want to push that?
Sure. Well, damn.
Wow. Okay.
All right, we're angry again.
Let's go. Just lost my notes. All right, let me pull them back up. There's a knock at the door, and Nigel, would you go to answer this, or would you let our butler here in the castle answer this?
Oh, did we bring Eric home with us?
Yes, you did. So do you want to set up Eric in the castle?
He can be I think he'd probably like to work in the garden or something.
Yes, I love it. In fact, let's... well, when we get to the end of this session, we will do a development on the castle, and if we get enough points, we can start working on getting that set up. I love that.
Yes, Eric, the shrubbery beneath my window requires some extra pruning.
Will you attend to my rhubarb, good sir? Does Nigel go answer this door, or do you let Algo, Frisk, our butler here at the castle, take care of it?
I think Nigel thinks it might be best to let him take care of it. You wouldn't want to overstep. We're at the castle, so better to attend to the Lord.
And you're not the servant of the castle. You live here just as rightfully as everyone else. You just feel a need to serve Lord Montgomery. The butler here, Algo Frisk, he comes in with a man behind him, Bjorn Prahl, and Bjorn Prahl is, or was, Franzibald's personal butler. And he's introduced as Bjorn Prahl, butler to Franzibald, and life partner. And you begin to realize, oh, Franzibald had a boyfriend, and this must be the boyfriend. This stern, quiet man looks pale, and his face is hollow, as if he hasn't eaten in days. He takes off his hat as he enters. "Good morning," he says quietly. "I hope I do not come at a bad time." And then he reaches for his inside jacket pocket, where he pulls out an envelope for you. And he looks at Lord Montgomery. "It was addressed to Franzibald," he says, his voice thick with suppressed emotion. "They must not know. It's from the university. An invitation for tonight. I cannot attend, but it might be of interest to you." And he holds it out to you, and then he sees Nigel, and he turns and hands it to Nigel.
"Good man. Here you go, my lord." And of course he brings that over.
Yes. Nigel, if you would, read it to me. I don't seem to have my glasses on me.
Of course, forgive me.
This letter gets passed around 5 or 6 times. Let me post this. It's an invitation to the ball. It says, "Mr. Franzibald Hansen and Company is requested to attend the ball at the new University Hall on the 5th of October, current at 4 o'clock p.m. Signed, Eskil Andersson, Vice-Chancellor, University of Uppsala, Gratiae Veritas Naturae," which means the truth in nature.
Well, would you look at that? He was clearly going to some sort of university event. I can't imagine they wouldn't have heard, but it seems to be the case.
Björn shares that Franzibald was very wary of Svea Mining Corporation and the reopening of the Abisko mine. Franzibald would often say that those fools at Svea Mining Corp do not know what forces they are up against. As concern fills his grief-stricken eyes, perhaps he was needlessly paranoid, but I frankly doubt it. I know this mattered to Franzibald a great deal, and he was planning on bringing your group in to help him with investigating this further after Falun. He pauses a moment, collects himself, and then continues. "I know it is a lot for me to ask, but you are the only ones I trust after everything that's happened." Franzibald kept a lot of notes on his research in his office, but I will admit I have not had the emotional strength to enter his office and go through it all. I offer you free access if you would be interested in going through his notes. I believe he was invited to this party because he had a good relationship with the geology department of the university, and he went to several of their seminars throughout the years. Even if my Franzi himself was more of an artistic spirit, academia did not really suit him. It was too structured, too sensible, he would say with a snort. And Bjorn smiles at the memory. Franzi had taken an interest in the first iteration of the mine when it was initially opened all those years ago. But it was after the terrible accident when his interest in geology truly spiked. He studied peculiar stones for years and kept writing down notes. Some days it consumed him. He stopped writing his regular stories. The accident at the mine shook him to his core, even though he was miles and miles away from it. I do not know anything more about Svea Mining Corp outside what's been written in the papers, but every time it comes up, far too many people who were vocal critics of the Magnussons, the owner of Svea Mining Corp, have disappeared. It seems that no one really likes or cares or dares to criticize them at this point. So please, attend this party at the university, and if you would like to go through his office, I can make the arrangements.
Well, we have an academic here at the castle, I'm sure. His research would interest them.
Now, Freya, you would know that the annual ball for the university, it's planned on presenting new revolutionary research in collaboration with Svea Mining Corporation. And you've heard that the invited list of influential investors, scientists, politicians, and the social elite of Northern Europe is expected to attend. There's been a record-long wait list for anyone in the scientific community who would kill to get an invite. And since the castle is in good standing with the university, you could be quite confident that this invitation, albeit addressed to Franzibald, would be extended to all of you.
Freya is just like, yeah, this sounds like a wonderful opportunity.
What does everyone else think?
Egmar offers cakes to Bjorn and says, "Do you know, I liked Mr. Franzibald. He liked cakes as much as I did."
Oh,
And do.
he liked them too much.
I don't think you can like cakes too much. Do you think I could have a dress to go to the ball?
Oh, you would require the most beautiful dress for the most beautiful girl, and I am confident that we can find something for you. Franzi, he has quite a few friends amongst the tailors and dressmakers here in Uppsala, and certainly we can get something special for you. If you can impress the social elite at the ball, you will surely go a long way towards finding out what is going on. If you look very fancy, you might score extra points with the Magnussons.
I think that would be so wonderful, although I must tell you that I'm not very good at impressing people with my magnificence.
Oh, but with the right clothes you can impress anyone. My Franzi used to wear the most delightful colors, lilac and lavender and other shades of purple that I don't even know what they might be. Plum, burgundy. He even had this beautiful mustard-colored dress with salmon silk scarf. Oh, it was delightful. He surely knew how to draw attention to himself, and I can help you if you wish the same. We should just
I shall be the lady at the ball. And she starts walking around the room, just bowing and curtsying and looking very knobby around the room.
Well, the secret is the hair. Let us do something magnificent with your hair. Perhaps we put it up in a great beehive or some other magnificent structure that seems to cascade down your shoulders and neck. It will surely draw the eye, and I've got some jewelry you can wear.
Oh, her eyes get really big, because as a street child, that might be a little bit too tempting.
And you've never had the opportunity ever to get all dolled up like this, to, throw out, all caution to the wind and wear an article of clothing that, would feed a family for a year. And it sounds like this would be, perfectly within your grasp at this time.
Mm-hmm.
So we can do some preparations. This is where you can choose a skill, and you can get a +2 advantage for this. for what is to come. It sounds like we'll be maybe investigating an office and attending a party.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with Freya. Do you know what skill you want to get your advantage in, and how you would go about getting that advantage?
I think we'll do manipulation this time. And I think knowing that the Magnusons are people that we're going to want to learn more about or talk to, I think she's just going to like do a deep dive into like their whole family like history, and like try to find things that like aren't super common so that, you know, she can use that somehow later.
Awesome. So give me a learning roll to see what you can find out on the Magnusons.
Alright, I'm going to use that bookworm skill here.
Excellent.
Oh my goodness.
Gosh.
Not her time.
Do you want to push that?
Already have.
Our academic is struggling.
He's struggling today. Yeah, why not?
Wow.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Wow.
Get these out of the way early.
Hopeless. Okay.
What about Nigel? What are you doing for your advantage? And any preparations you want to do before you leave the castle?
Yeah, thinking pretty hard about that one. I think it's kind of a hard choice, but Nigel would probably, after how like hostile that last one was, I think he'd do a little bit of a workout routine. I think he'd probably work on his close combat. You know, just dust stuff, the right hook.
Now, is this partly because you see that Bjorn was rather fit and strong, and this was Franzibald's butler, and, you know, Lord Montgomery deserves better than my little flabby midriff, my little muffin top that's sprouting out over my belt? Is that what promoted this? Was it petty jealousy?
He would not be caught dead admitting that, but I like the sound of that. I think that is absolutely true.
Nice. So, is that going to be on, like, a what skill particularly?
Yeah, probably close combat.
Close combat, yeah, perfect. And then anything that you want to do research-wise to look into either the Magnusons or the Svea Mining Corp.
Was somebody looking into the mining corp?
Well, they were going to, but it did not come to fruition.
I tried.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that is probably the right one to try to look into.
So you want to look into the mining corporation?
I could certainly give it a go.
Yeah. Are you looking through like old articles, or are you making phone calls?
Yeah, I think it's exactly it. He's just looking for any kind of like publicity the company might have received, any news about it, just its relative like reputation.
Yeah, perfect.
He's not very good though.
Yeah. Oh shoot.
Well.
Do you want to push that?
You know, hell, why not?
Oh man.
Wow, this mining corp will not be known.
I know. the who? Well, the what now? Montgomery, your turn. What do you take for your advantage?
Yes, well, first I was looking through my talents. I think I'd like to use my contacts and say I know the Magnusons.
Perfect.
In fact, I once helped one of them out of a bind once.
So you would probably know Carl Magnusson. And what you would know about Carl, give me 1 second to find out what I think you know about Carl. Here somewhere. Sorry, 1 second. Here we go. You know that Carl Magnusson, he is practical and stoic. He is a tall, stocky man who served in the Swedish military for years, which is probably how you first met him. Served in the Swedish military for years before venturing into mining operations, and he founded the Svea Mining Corp. The company made him rich and earned him respect in the industry. He met a young woman. You had heard about he met a young woman named Sigrid, and he had met this young woman and thought she would be perfect for his son, to be his son's bride. However, his son passed away before the wedding, and Carl decided that Sigrid's intelligence and drive were so rare and unique that he married her himself, just to keep her in the family. And the two of them formed a very strong partnership where the two of them reopened the Svea mine. However, it seems as though Carl is the money behind the operation, and perhaps Sigrid is the brains.
Perhaps for my advantage, I would also like to. Perhaps I know something that you wouldn't want to let loose at a party.
Ooh, you know,
and I could get a bonus to my manipulation. Yes.
Yeah, I like it. So you know some of the elite here in Uppsala, and you know some of the skeletons in their closet. Lovely. Let's go to Ilsa.
Well, personally, I'm very interested in these missing people that were brought up after talking bad about the mine and the Magnussons. I would like to maybe research them a little bit.
Which missing people? The ones that Bjorn told you about?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a roll for that.
I'm thinking maybe that would be a learning roll or investigation.
Probably investigation. Oh my goodness. Do you push it? Oh, you got a success. Sorry. Never mind. Yeah, so you look into it and you find that there are a lot of rumors, and you don't know how much is true and how much is false. But it sounds like there's a lot of talk about the Magnussons being rather ruthless in what they're doing. And that the Magnussons, Carl Magnusson particularly, seems to be interested in manufacturing military equipment for the Swedish military. And that anyone that gets in his way tends to disappear. He is a man of great power, and the rumor has it that with his goal set on military progress, that it's best not to be a speed bump in his path. You'll be ground down into nothing. The Magnussons have been able to deal with their critics by surrounding themselves with loyal, devout followers who treat them like gods. And the ones that they can't sway with charisma, they sway with gold. And it sounds as though one thing that you learn is something about a young journalist named Amanda Lorentz. She was at the Uppsala Gazette, and she had investigated the wave of patients at the asylum that you read that story about. And she wrote a story that connected it to the Svea Mining Corp. She questioned the Magnussons' acquisition of the mine and whether it's morally defensible to once again steal land from the local indigenous people, the Sami. And soon after she wrote this, she was fired and she disappeared. Rumors suggest that she herself has been sent to the asylum. And with your success, you find that a doctor who was on the payroll at the Svea Mining Corp had declared Amanda insane. People assumed that the humiliation of losing her job and friends had driven her mad, and she had accepted it. Some suggested that she had always been a wicked soul. After all, wasn't writing such nasty, libelous articles about a good, hard-working person like Carl Magnusson that would bring so much wealth to Sweden? What type of person would do that? They asked. You also discover that Amanda was a good friend of Franzibald and one of his allies, and that she knew that something terrible was going on, but the people in her social circle seemed to be swayed by the charismatic couple, Carl and Sigrid. And when the opening of the Svea mine, the reopening, received international attention, she seemed to feel it necessary to say something, and Franzibald tried to warn her, urging her not to do anything rash until he came back from his trip. But it was too late. So I'll just type her name into the chat. Amanda Lawrence.
We must free her.
Yeah, it sounds like she is unlawfully imprisoned in the asylum.
Mm-hmm.
And Ilsa, did you say what advantage you're going to take?
I want to take that in investigation.
Okay.
And I also have a question.
Yes.
So I didn't use my +2 bonus in the last
You lose it.
session? Okay.
Yep, you just lose it. Use it or lose it. And then Dagmar. How are you preparing and what advantage do you take?
So Dagmar is, of course, being fitted for her dress.
Oh, yeah.
Which makes her feel like the Swedish version of Cinderella. But I think because of her friend, she's worried about Linnea. She's going to go and visit Linnea and see what she can learn from Linnea about what's happening inside the asylum, just in the guise of being, a young friend going to visit her.
So we may do the trip to the asylum as a whole section here. So let me say, as you try to get into the asylum, it seems to be rather difficult. That when you approach one day, you've been here before. You know that the windows are covered in metal bars to avoid anyone climbing in or out. But in the distance, you can hear the sound of yelling mixed with hysterical laughter. And when you go into this large waiting area, it's dark in there, despite a big chandelier hanging from the ceiling. And you are greeted at the door. Well, I say greeted loosely. You are met at the door, and you are told to come back another day, that there has been an incident, and there will be no guests today. You ask about Linnea, and they say that you have visited her here before. You are on the list, but that there will be no guests coming today.
Report that back to the others, and I think this makes me very worried, so I'm going to keep my +2 to vigilance because I'm alert for my friend.
Perfect.
And I think there's something very dodgy going on.
Excellent. Okay, so we have our advantages. We've done some preparations. Now it's time to actually go and have some fun in Uppsala. Let me take us to a map here. This is southern Uppsala. So the university, you can see on the map, it's up kind of towards the top, and then the castle is also just up above it. We can zoom in a little bit on there. And Franzibald's office is right about here on this map. Now,
We should.
Sorry, I was going to say the ball is at 4 o'clock is when it will start. You don't want to be there at 4. It says 4. No one's showing up until like 5 o'clock, so you don't want to get there too early. That would not be good. But the ball is coming up that evening, so you've got a few hours before the ball. Dagmar, several dresses are brought over by Bjorn, along with some jewelry, and you're able to try those on. But how does everyone want to spend the few hours before it's time to go to the ball?
Well, I totally wanted to be there at 4 p.m, but I'm talked out of it.
Well,
no way I'm missing anything on the ball if I can help it.
Yeah, so perhaps though we could, some of us could stop by Franzibald's office and some of us could stop by the asylum. I doubt they would say no guests to one such as the Honorable Lord Montgomery.
Have you made donations to the asylum? Have you donated money?
Certainly, yes.
Yeah, you, even despite whatever is going on, they would probably grant you entrance.
Or perhaps we could stop at both and we could all go together. I know splitting up isn't always the most best idea.
Never heard us before.
Yes, go together.
Except for that
Has
one.
flashbacks to almost being burned at the stake.
Well, who wants to go where?
I would
Well, I'm
like
coming
go
to the asylum.
Yeah, I'd like to go to the asylum.
Okay. Are we all going to the asylum? Sounds like Dagmar and Ilsa are. Is Montgomery, are you going to the asylum?
Yeah,
I
he's
think
going to
that
get us
would
in.
be a good place to start.
Does Nigel accompany you, or do you send him to gather up things at Franzi's office? Or do you want to all go there?
Suppose I
together?
wouldn't want to go without him, though that's up to him, of course.
And Freya, do you go to the asylum as well, or do you want to go to Franzibald's office?
I think she'll stick with the group.
Yeah, I think we can do both.
Yeah.
We can get there fashionably late.
Let's go. Let's go to the asylum. So when you arrive, I'm going to have Lord Montgomery make a manipulation roll, and you can add a bonus die because of your station to see if you can convince the front desk that you should be allowed entrance.
Yes, and if I am not, I would hate to have to mention your names to my good friend Carl Magnusson.
Oh, you dropped Carl's name. Interesting. Okay, go ahead and make your roll. There we go.
Nice.
You are met by a rather slick-looking gentleman, Nicholas.
Yeah, he's rather unpleasant.
Right?
Nigel, please shake his hand for me.
Nicholas greets you and says, "Yes, welcome. I am in charge of the Uppsala Asylum." He's a lanky man with an absurdly large nose and a weird, unsettling smile. And when he heard that Montgomery was here, it sounds like he needed to see you firsthand. And so he steps up, and he's kind of a sniveling, bootlick sort of person. Sounds like he works for whoever is willing to pay him, and that you've recognized, you've seen this sort of person before. Money talks to him, and he is most likely on the payroll of the Magnussons. Welcome, Lord Montgomery, English lord here in the asylum. What brings you here?
I see that the facility is well kept. My donations have, I assume, proved well spent. What was their name again? The one we're here to see.
Linnea.
Ah, yes. Well, I happen to would like to visit someone you have here at your establishment, Miss Linnea, if that would be possible.
Oh, Linnea. Oh. Let me check. And he pulls out a small pad of paper, and he's skimming through names. No. Oh, yes. She is receiving visitors. Yes, please. Do come in, won't you? And he invites you into the main patient area. Let me take us to a map of the Uppsala.
I will remove a sizable amount of bills and hand them to Nigel. Nigel, would you pay him and tell us that we'd rather not be disturbed while here?
Ooh,
Of course.
He sees the money. Yes. Excellent. No disturbing you. No, sir. Very, very nice to see you. Very, very pleasant indeed. Tell me, how long do you need with Linnea?
if your concern right now, good sir, just make sure that no one disturbs us while we're speaking with our friend.
Oh, of course, of course. Yes, no one will disturb you. Don't you worry. You'll be safe here, and when you're finished, simply come out and we'll talk more. Yes. And so he takes you to Linnea's room, and it's on the upper floor. He takes you through some barred doors, and you see people looking through the small glass windows in the cells, and most of them have just a distant stare, but some are crying, some are laughing, and some are standing at the window looking out, just begging for a chance to get out. And Linnea has kind of a smaller cell. She's over here, but he leads you there, unlocks the door. You walk in and you see Linnea. And Dagmar, Linnea is overjoyed to see you. She's used to your regular visits. The rest of you probably don't come as often as you would like, but Dagmar seems to always have time for Linnea. And she welcomes you into her cell and bids you to sit down, realizing there's nowhere for you to sit. There's no chairs. There's just her bed. There's room for a few people to sit on the bed, but she scoots over to make room for Dagmar.
I actually drop to my knees in front of her and I take her hands.
And her hand is leathery and skeletal. She is very old, and her hands are very frail. You can feel the bones moving in her hand as you hold it in yours.
Darling Linnea, don't look well. What's going on?
Oh, this place is quite full. There's so many people here of late. Very strange indeed. You've picked a bad time to come, I'm afraid.
Well, I wasn't allowed to visit before. What has changed here? Is there anything you need to tell us about this place?
There's a lot of patients here that, well, most of them seem to work for some sort of mine that's just reopened. It's strange that that's who would come here, and she looks around left and right, they seem to have the sight. They hallucinate seeing strange creatures that don't exist. But when I have had the chance to speak with some of them in common rooms, they don't have the sight like we do, but they have seen Vaesen. I can't explain it. These are mine workers, people in administrative positions at the mine, and they've all been brought here. They're not crazy. They have the sight, but they don't know it, or they don't understand it. And it's not like you or I have.
I look at the others. What? We need to ask Linnea what we can.
Have you met another prisoner here, patient here named Amanda? Yeah.
Prisoner? We're not prisoners here. We're free to come and go whenever the doctor pleases.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyone named
Amanda? Yeah, the journalist. She is unwell. She has a feeling of great betrayal. She is not one of those that has the hallucinations of Vaesen. I think she's been brought here as a punishment. She's just a few doors down, and she points to her right. 3 doors down, you'll find her there.
I go and see her in a minute, but Tommy, are you safe?
Oh, I'm quite safe. I've been here for so long that, well, this is practically my home. I came here to rest and recover. The weight of the society was too heavy for an old woman to bear alone. You were doing well to keep things going in my absence. And, well, this was a place where I thought I could recover, and now it's filled with crazy people, if you know what I mean. So far, I'm okay, but if things get bad enough, I'll send a message and it'll be time to get me out of here.
We'll await that message. Do you think we would be allowed to visit Amanda?
Allowed? Well, I don't know, but you got in to see me, so I don't see why. Perhaps if you give them a good reason why you should see her, they might permit it to happen. Or...
Sure, Monty. Oh, sorry, Sir Montgomery would actually be able to come up with a reason, I'm sure.
Oh, yes, I have hundreds of reasons in my pocket.
Yes, I'm sure he has his means. We've all got a part to play in this.
Okay.
Now, you
I
be
give her a
careful.
cake.
Ooh, a cherry
I
bakewell.
squat it in my pocket as usual.
A cherry bakewell, my favorite, and it's rather smashed, and it's warm and kind of oozing a bit. This will be just delightful. And she looks at it like she wants to take a bite, and then she sets it on her bed. I'll eat that later.
That's so parenty.
There's probably a little bit of Blix's dog hair on it. Maybe he's licked it a few times.
Probably. I'm sorry, I only licked a little bit of the sugar off.
Oh, I do the same thing. And then Lord Montgomery begins to wonder about those almonds he ate from her office that, now he thinks about it, perhaps they were covered with chocolate before she got to them.
Oh, yes.
Now, you be careful. That man here, Nicholas, I don't trust him. He's being paid to keep things quiet here.
Doesn't have a trustworthy face, does he?
No, doesn't have much of a face at all. But I do hear he's single. I don't think anyone would want to marry that one.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm sure we'll find another way around him.
He has this lovely little snaggletooth that hangs out of his mouth. It's quite distracting.
Mm.
It's a little bit like a werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
That could be cute.
He doesn't eat garlic, I've noticed. Perhaps he's one of those vampires. And she kind of chuckles. No, only joking.
Sure. Did Freya have any questions for Linnea?
I think. She would like to know, do we have any more details on what the other patients from the mines have seen, or just that they've seen something?
They've seen a great many things. They've seen small little creatures milling about, the Vaetier. And you've perhaps heard the term Vaetier. I think I'm spelling it right. The Vaetier. And you're probably familiar with Vaetier. They're small, like leprechaun sort of creatures, but they're almost a combination of woodland creature and human, that are typically they're the Vaesen that lives the closest to humans. They're the easiest to get along with. They tend to live in colonies underneath stables and fireplaces or in underground passages. And they're as small as rats, usually dressed in black or gray clothes, with an appearance that resembles small animals such as toads, mice, or hedgehogs. And they have short names like Toss, Poss, or Nos. And humans that are kind enough to help them can be rewarded with leaves of gold or magic items. But Vaetier can also be vengeful, spreading diseases or burning down the farm. None of you have ever encountered a Vaetier, but you have heard of them. They're very common.
They sound adorable.
Oh, they are
They
quite
do.
cute as long as you're on their good side.
They like cake.
These visions only come to them when they're in the mine, right?
Yes, they don't have them now. They don't see them in here, but they've been brought here I think to keep them quiet.
Has anyone described anything that sounds like a revenant?
A revenant? No. Goodness, no. Someone thought they saw a giant, but I think that was a real hallucination. I don't think that was the sight.
I hope so.
Yeah, and you notice that Freya's face kind of takes on a little bit of a
Ew.
paleness. Any other questions for Linnea? Do you want to try to speak with Amanda?
Yeah.
How do you go about that? Do you try to bluff your way or bribe your way there, or do you try to sneak in and make contact with her?
Sorry, Sir Montgomery?
Well, yes, we could try both. While I attempt to pay our way forward, the rest of you could try and sneak past the man. I'm sure the sight of British pounds will distract him well enough, if I know anything.
There's a nurse out in the hallway as you leave Linnea's room, and she's the first to greet you, and she's pointing you towards the exit. Do you want to try your bribe on her?
Sure, surely. Actually, in fact, I will ask her, could I speak to that, what was his name, Nicholson or something like that?
Nicholas? Oh,
Or Nicholas, yes.
Of course. Let me take you to his room. It's just down
No,
the
no,
stairs.
I'd rather he be brought here if you don't mind.
Oh, well, that's most unusual. We don't do things that are unusual here. We like to keep things orderly and stick to a schedule, if you know what I mean. Change is not good for the people here.
I'm sure you could change a few things for one of your primary donors, yes?
Well, perhaps it would take more than just change, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I know the type. Perhaps this will suffice, and I will count out a few bits of money that might prove useful to them.
And you see her eyes don't grow large. It's like she expects this, and she holds out her hand, and you put a few bills in her hand, and she doesn't move. Her eyes move up to you like she's still counting. Like, keep going.
Careful, I don't want to have to mention your name to Mr. Magnusson, my good friend.
And her hand immediately forms a fist, and she takes the money. You can see the bills crumpled up in her fist, and she turns bright red, and she stuffs the money into her pocket and says, "Very well, I will go and get him. Wait here." And she hurries.
Quite glad I know that name.
She hurries down the hallway to the stairs to go and get that man. You've got a few moments here in the hallway where it is being unwatched and unguarded.
Gary.
Ilsa, pick that lock.
So can I go down to Amanda's cell?
Sure can. Give me a stealth roll to pick that lock. Nice.
Yeah.
You get the door open, and you see this forlorn-looking woman in the cell. And she looks at you, and she looks down at her feet, and she says, "The Magnuson sent you, didn't they?"
Well, actually, we came here ourselves.
No.
Hoping to find out about what the Magnussons have done to you and why they have put you here.
And she spits on the ground. "I'll not speak to you. You've been sent by them. I know it."
Can I use my talent of well-travelled?
Ooh.
Once per mystery, you can make a manipulation test to create an NPC who is situated in the area you have met before. I think I've met, if I roll correctly, I think I would have met her on the street when she was perhaps investigating something.
Ooh, perfect.
Treatment of street people or something like that.
Yeah, give me a roll.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, there was a time, maybe a year ago, where she was doing a story on homelessness in Uppsala and on what opportunities they had to bring themselves up by their bootstraps. And you knew who she was from this story, and maybe you spoke very briefly, or you were with someone that was speaking with her, was being interviewed. But you remember this interview, and you can use that to your advantage to get her to open up. So I'll let you go ahead and tell me how you do that, or what do you say to her?
I do that. I say, Amanda, I know I look much more neater and well dressed now than I used to, but do you recognize me from when you did that newspaper article about the children on the streets? It's me, Dagmar. Remember my little dog? I don't think I actually brought Blix. I think I probably left him with Eric because I didn't think he would go down well in an asylum. But remember my little dog Blix? I think he maybe bit you on the ankle. You probably won't forget that.
Her hand immediately drops down to her ankle, and she rubs it unconsciously, and she looks up at you, and her eyes begin to focus. I remember.
You don't think that I would be in league with the Magnusons, do you?
No, of course not, but why are you here? Have you been brought here because of something that you've done? Are you in trouble?
We're in the guise of visitors, but we heard about you and we think we need to get you out of here, but first we need some information so that we can work out what to do and how to do that. Do you know why they've locked you up?
I know too much. A friend of mine, an author, he lied to me. He said that he would help me. He had found some stones. Those stones are dangerous, and he lied. Why didn't he save me? Where is he? Where is Mr. Hansen?
Hansen? It's his first name. This is the first I've heard of him.
Yeah, and this might be Franzibald that she's talking about. You know that her and Franzibald, that they knew one another.
Oh, of course. Mr. Franzibald. He was my friend. We ate cakes. He's dead. I'm so sorry. He didn't betray you. He was killed.
Tears begin to stream down her face. Then we are truly doomed. They've won.
He wasn't killed by the Magnusons, though.
Who killed him?
He was killed by a revenant?
He told me about these things. He wrote a book about them, a story.
Far from here. I don't think that's involved right now.
We are doomed.
I might be wrong.
He tried to warn me. He told me that the Magnusons were up to no good. Franzibald had this stone. It's dangerous. He thought it could be useful, but no, these things are so dangerous. There's going to be some sort of presentation tonight. The Magnusons are involved. They're going to show the world what these stones can do. It's not a good situation, not at all. And then you hear footsteps coming down the hallway as that creeper, Nicholas, comes down the hallway. He says, "Oh, Lord Montgomery, you wish to see... Why is that door open?"
Don't concern yourself. Nigel, would you stand between us as we walk? I wish to speak to our friend here. Yes. But some distance perhaps would be suitable. You see, I simply am finishing up business here. You know how it is, and would like to keep this all quiet. And I will pass along some more money that perhaps will convince him. And perhaps for the next little bit or so, you could just finish giving me and Nigel here a tour of your facilities, and then we'll be on our way.
Yes, look, but you need to leave that patient alone. Please, come out of there. Let us go. I'll give you the tour, but no more talking with the inmates. I mean the patients.
Don't worry, and I'll tap my nose. I'm friends with Mr. Magnuson. I know what I'm doing.
If you knew him, and if he knew what you were doing, you would find your way in here in short order, sir. Please, come away from
Tom.
that door.
No, I don't think we'll be doing that right now, good sir. I'd rather you give us our tour and we be done with it.
Come along then, all of you. Nurse, see them out of that room and shut that door. Come
I
on.
say to Amanda, "We will not forget you. We will come back for you."
And she doesn't want to let go of your hand. She reaches out and grabs it and holds it and squeezes it tightly. And she looks at you like she will hold you to that promise. And then she lets go, and as her hand pulls away, your fingers kind of glide over one another's as though she wants that human touch to linger for every moment possible. And as it lets go, you see the life just kind of come out of her body as she slumps into a depressive state and curls up.
I say to her, "Don't worry. Just think how hard Blix bites. Well, that's how hard I will hold on to my promise to you."
She lets out a little smile as her hand again begins to rub her ankle, and you can see that for a moment some joy has entered into her life. As you step out of the room, you hear the door close with a very loud clank, and you're just glad you're on this side of the door. You can't imagine what it would be like for Amanda on the other side. The tour goes well. Takes about an hour for him to show you every bit of the asylum, how it's run, how it's maintained. He introduces you to much of the staff, and you realize that time is wasting. You've got a few more hours until the ball. How much time do you want to spend here in the company of Nicholas?
Well, I think I will ask Nigel what he makes of it. Nigel, do you think that we found all that there is to find here?
Well, certainly all that we're going to find without conflict. I don't know if we found everything, my lord, but everything that we are able, yes, I reckon.
Well, if you feel that our visit here has been suitable, then Lord Montgomery is ready to leave. How does the rest of us feel? We can cut this tour short, of course.
I think we need to go to Franzibal's library.
I think I will then politely excuse us from our guide here and see us off.
You make it to Franzibald's office. It's on the second floor of his old mansion, and it is as eccentric as its former owner. Every inch of the walls and floor are covered in books and notes, and exotic pieces of furniture are haphazardly placed all over the room. An enormous globe stands in one corner, a marble bust of a Roman emperor in another. From the ceiling hangs an enormous skeleton of what could either be a crocodile or possibly a dinosaur. A desk cluttered with burnt-down candlesticks, ink pens, and papers stands in the middle of the room. It's going to take an investigation roll to piece this clutter together. Who wants to do that?
That be Freya's wheelhouse?
Ilsa is the best at investigation.
Okay.
I could also use my +2 bonus that I took.
Yep.
So I'll do that.
Yes.
Got it. So you notice a few things. The first thing you notice is that something on the floor right in front of a bookcase catches your eye. It looks as though a door has scraped against the floor there several times, creating scratches from the friction in the floor. There is part of the bookcase is most likely a hidden door that can pull out. On the desk, there is the beginning of an article entitled "The Lack of Transparency Should Concern Us All," and Franzibald is calling out Uppsala University for not being open about its dealings with Svea Mining Corp and the reopening of the Abisko mine. On the desk there is also an old newspaper clipping about the accident at the Abisko mine, which occurred 13 years earlier. And let me give you that clipping. ownership of that. And let's take a look at this clipping. So it says, over 30 dead in Abisko mine accident. At least 30 miners are missing and presumed dead after a powerful explosion in the iron mine at Abisko. The damage to the mine is described as total, and the operators comment that it will likely not be reopened in the short term. Few details are available, but the accident occurred after a new mine tunnel was opened. An unknown green mineral is reported to have been discovered in the new tunnel. The nature of the mineral, and if it triggered the blast or not, is unknown. And this was 13 years ago.
Was Franzibor's stone green?
It was.
Okay.
In one of the desk drawers, there's a small box containing several gemstones of various kinds. Freya, give me a learning roll.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ooh.
You recognize these stones. There are rubies, sapphires, malachite, and quartz. Next to the box is a small notebook that lists all discovered gemstones with small scribbles next to them saying, not working. Now, Ilsa, you're standing near that bookcase. It looks like this can be pulled out. It might take a force roll to get this thing pulled out. It looks like there's a lot of friction to get this thing to slide out. If someone wants to do that, it'd be a force roll. If someone's helping, up to 3 people could help, giving a +3 on that roll. Who wants to open that?
Oh, I could give it a go if you don't mind.
And Nigel rolls up his sleeves. Is anyone helping him?
I can help. I've got a 5 to physique, so...
So then you get a +1 on that force roll, Nigel.
I would also
Could I
be
inspire Nigel?
Yeah, so make that a +3 as Montgomery's like, put your back into it, man. And Ilsa and Dagmar grab a hold of you and pull you, maybe by your coattails as you're pulling on the door. And despite them pulling on you, you still manage to get it open. This leads down into a few steps leading down into darkness, and a cold, musky breeze comes from somewhere deep below. It sends a chill through your spines. You will need some sort of light source to proceed.
Let's have a look.
Any of you have a light source?
My only gear is a dog.
Nice. I do not have a light source.
Does he maybe have a lantern in his office?
There, give me an observation roll. Yes, there are some burned down candles, and there's a few that you think you could put, light to provide you enough light for at least maybe 30 to 40 minutes. So you get that lit up, and the stairs take you down further and further until you reach a dark corridor. It's very cold, and the air is humid and stale. Walking further, you reach a doorway that leads to a larger room. With your candlelight, you notice that there are several benches and what looks like an altar further ahead. A large old chandelier hangs from the curved ceiling, covered in dust. It would appear that no one has been here for several years, perhaps decades. But strange-looking books lie everywhere. And Freya, you recognize the names of some of these books. Der Vermis Mysterius, Unausprechlichen Kulten. These are books on the occult and arcane learning. Once you're all in the room and Freya is looking at these books, the door behind you slams shut.
Oh no.
Shadows from the candlelight appear on the walls, creeping closer and closer. Suddenly, a dark and booming voice echoes through the entire room. Who are you? This is a fear test. Everyone needs to roll either logic or empathy to see if you can withstand this fearful moment. Alright, that is Freya, and not Lord Montgomery.
Found something Lord Montgomery's scared of.
Not scared, simply a little on my nerves, I suppose.
So deep down, Lord Montgomery, you put on airs of being brave, but you are suddenly overtaken by something very fearful, and you begin to sweat profusely, and your heart is just pounding, and your hands begin to tremble. And this has not happened for some time. You've been good at keeping this at bay, but here it is. And Freya, likewise, you see these books, you realize the weight of what is said to be in these books. You've never had a chance to read them, but they are on the list of restricted books at the university library. These are things that people, you don't look into these unless you are confident in your abilities. It is said that the workings of magic lie in these books, although whether or not you believe that to be true remains to be seen.
Being an occultist, would I also be familiar with
Yeah,
these books?
you would definitely. In fact, you've maybe had a glance in some of the books, and a lot of them talk about supernatural events and powers that people can take. You know that Vaesen can cast enchantments and curses, and these books describe how humans might learn these things for themselves. Now, this deep voice, as it resonates through the room, I need Freya and Montgomery to both take a mental condition from the fear attack. The voice asks you, "Who are you? Who sent you? Why are you here?"
Hello.
Oh, you cut out on me, Tina. What was that?
I just said, hello. Are you grumpy?
No, but you will soon pay with your life. Who sent you?
Child.
Franzibald?
Matters. And you hear a small voice from one of the corners of the room. They say they know Franzibald. And the first voice, in a stark contrast to the terrifying demonic voice that shook the room a few moments ago, says, "I told you they were not dangerous," says another voice. And then another, lighter and female. "Well, what do you want me to do? They're waking up little Screwly." And the first voice, "He was already awake. You should go talk to them." "Talk to them? Now? But... And then a tiny creature steps out from the shadows, no bigger than a large rat.
Oh.
Oh, hello.
And he's wearing an elegant hat and a coat. He looks like a mix between a frog and a mouse, but he stands on two legs. "Good morning, or afternoon, as it were. My name is Horn, and this is my wife, Toss." And a tiny creature steps out, but she looks more like a hedgehog. And she seems to be carrying a child or something. And I have another picture here. Let me find it real quick. Where is it? It's a cute picture, so I wanted to show it to you. There it is.
Oh.
And so he's got, this is his wife, Toss. And this small creature looks a little bit more like a hedgehog, and she's carrying a frog in a pack that could possibly be a child, who is staring at you with curious eyes. And you realize you have just come face to face with the Vaetier.
Dun, dun, dun.
If you are friends of Franzibald, there are things that you should see. And they return with a small locked box. "We haven't the key, and he made us promise we wouldn't get in here. Did he make you take that same promise?"
Don't think so.
"Well then, it's yours. Open it if you can."
Do we have to open it here? Can we take it with us?
Well, I kind of want to see what's in there myself, but you can do as you see
That
best.
would be fair. Can I just ask, and I just say it very quietly into one of their little shell-like ears, I say, what was the scary voice?
Well, we didn't know you were friends of Franzibald, and we were told to keep anyone away that might be snooping in here that had no business being here. So I'm
You just
I'm
did a
terribly
scary
sorry
voice.
about that. Do you want to hear the scary voice? And the room begins to echo, and he, oh, sorry. I can't help myself.
She giggles now. It's not scary anymore.
Does
look at
does
the
our
others.
resident thief, Ilsa, do you want to try and open this lockbox?
Yeah, I guess I will.
And we'll cover what's in the box, and then we'll end the session there. Nice, boy.
Yeah,
you are
look at
good
that.
at this. Inside the box, there are two small stones that have a slight green tint, but far less bright than the one that Franzibald carried around his neck. And if someone wants to study these stones, it's a learning or an investigation roll. If one of you wants to do that. There's also Franzibald's notebook that includes scribbles, notes, and various theories about the stones that he's been gathering for years. And there's a handout there. I'll get that ready.
Oh.
Darn it. They look to be semi-precious stones, but they're maybe a little bit unlike anything you've seen before. At least you can't definitively identify what it might be. And here is Franzibald's notebook. And this is... I'll make this available in the journals as well. But you see some sketches in here. And there's also some notes. The Vaesen are attracted to the light of the gemstone. The stone activates whenever one is near. It seems like they are feeding off each other's energies. The stones seem almost biological, as if they were once part of something alive. I found a very interesting reference in the Ballad of Vafthrûdnir on the Poetic Edda. Odin spake. First answer me well, if thy wisdom avails, and thou knowest it, Vafthrûdnir. Now, in earliest time, whence came the earth, or the sky, thou giant sage? Vafthrûdnir spake, out of Ymir's flesh was fashioned the earth, and the mountains were made of his bones, the sky from the frost-cold giant's skull, and the ocean out of his blood. I understand now the old verses hide a titanic truth. The stones hold the powers of creation of both man and Vaesen, magic and mundane. I have a hard time sleeping. The stones keep me awake, poisoning my mind. The fools at the university do not understand the dangers. Humans were never meant to discover these. The stones are clearly binding the unseen world of Vaesen with our world. The consequences can be dire. We must stop the mining operations in the north. I must gather people I can trust to help me. Sigrid Magnusson, member of the Vanadisir? I am being followed. Hide my research. The notebook mentions the Vanadisir again. You can make another learning roll, Freya, if you want to redeem yourself.
Oh, we'll see. Nope.
Oh, goodness.
It's a hard day for
Goodness.
Freya.
So that's something, again, you're going to want to look up. You're pretty sure that was something from the Viking Age, from 1,000 years ago. But you don't know. But this note seems to suggest that the Vanadisir might still be around. And is Sigrid Magnusson perhaps a member? It's difficult to say. And that is where we will end the session. Down here with Horn and Toss, with Franzibald's journal, with perhaps more questions than answers, and in about 1 hour's time, the ball to which we've been invited at the university. All right, let's go ahead and do the questionnaire, the one you answer for experience points. So the first question is, did you participate in the session? Yes. So everybody gets 1. Did you confront any Vaesen? Well, you confronted the Revenant and as well as the Myling, and you just confronted some Vaetir, so absolutely. Did you identify a previously unknown Vaesen? You sure did.
Yeah.
Were you affected by your dark secret? I will let you guys decide if your dark secret came into play. Did you take risks to protect other people? And Freya, for sure, took a risk to try and protect Ilsa. And Lord Montgomery took a risk to try and protect Freya and Ilsa. And Dagmar took a huge risk in taking the bones by yourself to go and try to bury them, to put the Myling to rest. Did Ilsa and Nigel, did you put yourself at risk to protect other people? I'll let you guys decide that. And then have you learned...
Nigel,
sorry, go ahead.
he protected Lord Montgomery when he took his nap upon the hill.
That he did. He stood over him.
Did too.
And then have you learned anything? You've learned about the Vanadisir, whatever that might be, and you've learned a little bit about the Magnusons. So yes. Did you develop something in your headquarters? Not yet. And did you perform an extraordinary action? There were several extraordinary actions performed. Again, I will let you guys decide what of those you will get. But for sure, everyone gets 1, 2, 3, 4. Everyone gets at least 4, and if you get more, I'll let you decide. Depends on if your dark secret, did you take a risk, and did you perform an extraordinary action. So you can put that on your character sheet under your experience points, and once you have at least 5, you can spend 5 to increase a rank in a skill by 1 point, or you can take a new talent if anyone wants to do that. We can also check for development points for the castle, and so there's a questionnaire for that. So did you play at least one scene at the headquarters? You did. Did you encounter a new type of Vaesen? You did. Did you visit a place of magic? No. Were you subjected to magic? Yes. The fire in the church. Did you bring occult books or other important items back to the headquarters? No. Hint, hint, there's some occult books here. Did you make important contacts? Yes, Bjorn. He's an important contact. Was the mystery particularly difficult and epic? I think that the end of the one with the Myling, I think that was particularly difficult and epic. And did you solve it? Yes. So that's actually 6 points. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 6 points for the society. So let me put that on the castle, and I think we already had 2. Yep. So we have 8 development points. So now we can look at some improvements for the castle. We want to get Eric a job there. So let's see.
Other people have something they want to do that's more valuable than us getting Eric. We can do that.
So sometimes there's an order that things have to be done first. So to get a gardener, we just have to have resource 5, and I think Lord Montgomery already has that. So that will...
Yes, he has 7.
Perfect. So that will cost us 4 points. So that'll put us at 4. And then let me add a gardener. And... personnel... gardener. Perfect. And let me change the name here. Call it gardener. Eric. So what the gardener will get us is all food from the headquarters counts as nutritious. This can also provide an asset. It can give you 3 doses of a weak poison or 1 dose of a strong poison during the preparation phase without having to roll for it. So that is a good bonus there. We can also... Let me see what we need to do to get a garden. We can get like a carp pond. We need a botanical garden first. So let's see what we need to do to get the... There's a butterfly house. We need the botanical garden. We can get an infirmary, which lets you push all physical recovery rolls. We have a library. We can get like a tavern nearby, or a map room. A seance parlor. You can hold a seance before a mystery to gain access to additional clues. That would cost 5. We only have 4, so that's something we could add next time. We could get a stable. Oh, there's the botanical garden. So we just need a gardener. And okay, so we could add the botanical garden. It costs 4. Well, this is perfect. So it's an overgrown part of the grounds with particularly exotic plants that conceals crumbled arches, broken glass, and stone pillars. So let's add the botanical garden. Discovered. So this one was discovered. It was already there, but we happened to uncover it as Eric begins to remove the weeds out of the botanical garden. What this will do is you can spend a scene in the garden to heal 2 mental conditions, just in the peace and quiet of the garden. So that will be lovely. Anyone need any help either spending your points? Do you want to take a skill or a talent, or just hoard them for now?
Yeah, I'd like to take a new talent.
Do you know what talent you are interested in?
Yes, knowledge is reassuring.
Perfect. Let me grab the talent there. Is that an academic talent or a general talent? Oh, there it is.
Academic.
Right there.
Yeah.
Perfect. So that will cost you 5. You can go ahead and take 5 off of your experience points. And now you have knowledge is reassuring. Excellent.
Woohoo.
Anyone else want to get a talent or skills? Need help with that?
Lord Montgomery removed 5 points and took his manipulation up to 4.
Okay, excellent. What about Nigel? How are you going to spend your points?
Yeah, he took 5 and he increased his ranged combat to 3.
Oh, excellent. And Ilsa?
I'm just having a look through
Okay.
the talents right now.
How about Dagmar? Need any help with that?
Yeah, I'm still having it. Can I just message you and decide? I want to just
yep,
get the book out
absolutely.
and have a good look.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
And do you want to do that as well, Ilsa? Do you want to just let me know after the game and
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
make changes? Perfect. Well, I want to thank you guys for playing. I had a blast. I think that was a ton of fun. You guys did great. The ball's going to be a hoot with Dagmar there, kind of a fish out of water sort of scene. But that's going to be a lot of fun. We're actually pretty close to done with this one. This mystery, you don't really fight a Vaesen. You can encounter one, which we just did, the Vaetir, but it's mostly setting up the rest of the campaign. You sort of learned the key things. So you just learned about those stones, like what exactly, or what you think they might do, and are they good, are they bad? And then kind of the key players. The Magnusons seem like some key players here, and that Abyssco mine. And we're about to meet the Magnusons when we go to the ball. And so once we have done the ball, there's some events that happen there, and then that's the end of the mystery. We'll jump right into the third one. So next time we meet, we will just get right into it. So thanks, everybody. I appreciate all the great role-playing and the effort you guys put into it. It definitely pays off, because this was just an absolute blast. So thanks a lot, everybody, and I'll see you in a week.
Just one question, Brandon.
Yes.
Did we leave headless Franzibal with his stone?
So the Revenant, Lisa, she was wearing the stone, and she disappeared in a bright green flash. So she has the
Right.
stone.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions
Thanks,
as far
everybody.
as what's happening, what happened, what are we doing? Awesome. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.